need 2 sugars.
Hey, friendo.
It's sugar.
Call it.
Call it.
I'm going decaf.
What the mother is up, internets? Welcome to another episode of That's the
Trailer. I am Mr. Royland. Over to my left, camera right is
Durden Godfrey.
Why do you God and why do you free? Hey guys, we're welcome back. We missed you guys. Did you miss them? Because I missed them.
We have 3 episodes remaining this season, including this one. Have you visited our site yet? Because we have all the episodes backlogged on there, nicely categorized for you. All of the segments, all of the interviews, everything at TTFT.live. You should check it out, now. And support the show.
How can they do that, Dave?
You can find all the links to support the show at ttft.live. There are 2 ways to support. You can either do Patreon if you'd like to contribute on a monthly reoccurring basis. If a one-time payment works better for you, you can use PayPal. Well, we accept both with open arms. And you could also support our sponsor, which in turn supports us, which reminds me, can somebody roll that?
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
If you want to feel like a superhero or a supervillain, check out Aimbot Energy. They are locally produced right here in Jacksonville, Florida, locally owned and operated. They produce a healthy alternative to energy drinks that doesn't give you the sluggish feeling when it wears off.
You mean the crash?
The crash. The 3 o'clock crash. It is 100% natural. They use a perfect balance of nootropic to enhance your focus and multitasking, your memory and your critical thinking, your blood flow, because that is actually important.
Does it help serotonin?
It does help the serotonin, and I would use it specifically just for that if that was the only nootropic in Aimbot Energy. Aimbot has 0 sugars, 0 calories for those of you that care about that kind of stuff. It comes in 4 flavors: blue raspberry, fruit punch, green apple, and straw kiwi. This stuff is so powerful that they recommend if you are a new user of Aimbot, you only use half the bottle, because a full bottle will kick your ass. Right now with our discount code, you can get a 4-pack for under $10. You can get 40, which is regularly $100, for $85. So go right now to aimbotenergy.com/discount/TTFT. Support Aimbot Energy, local business, support our show, independent. We're all happy, and you are the best version of yourself. Aimbot Energy.
David, why roll your bot when you can aim your bot?
Thank you very much to Aimbot for supporting this episode. You can also support this show by subscribing. Numbers get us closer to monetization. Every single one of you counts towards our 1,000 subscribers. Thank you very much to everybody that has subscribed and is watching. What are we doing today, Mr. Royal?
Well, listen here. Listen, there's no city for young boys, but there's definitely no country for old men.
Yes, the Coen Brothers masterpiece, No Country for Old Men, we will be discussing today. And coming up in the episode, we'll be talking to 2 stars from the film, legends of Hollywood, Barry Corbin and Beth Grant. So stick around for Cast Crew Review. That'll be coming up in a few segments. But first, how about that elevator pitch?
And guys, guess what? You're in luck today. For the elevator pitch, we went all the way to a icon. You guys know all his films. We quote him. We talk about him all the time. We don't ask how. Let's just say, thank goodness, the cameo. We were able to get Tarantino himself. And by Tarantino himself, I mean the great gifted Tarantino Jones. Take it away, sir.
To the booth. To the booth.
Hey, wait, what's going on, man? We live, man. It's your boy Tito Anthrax live in the building. Tarantino, you know what I mean? I want to thank my boys for letting me on the show one time, TTFT. Y'all make sure y'all hit that subscribe button and like and all that good stuff, No Country for Old Men. All right, so really in the beginning, one of the things that is really crazy is Llewellyn filing all that money after seeing all those dead bodies. Now, what is a person going to do, a normal person going to do once they find all that type of money and seeing dead bodies? You get the hell out of there. For some reason, after even making it out of that situation, he decides to go home, talk to his girl, and out of the blue, for some reason, to get some water to go back out there and do what? What are you finna go do, man? Save a life? Get the hell out of here. Next thing I want to talk about is Carla Jean Moss, which was Llewellyn Moss's wife, played by Kelly MacDonald. I'm going to tell you about her character to me. She was a little bit too nosy, a little bit asking too many questions, should I say. Llewellyn, where'd you get the bag from?
What are you gonna do?
Where are we going? Why? Shut up and do what the hell I tell you sometimes, and maybe we'll get up out of this situation alive, which they didn't. As we move on through the movie, we got Carla Jean's mother, played by Beth Grant. She talks too damn much too, so now I see where the daughter gets it from. I got the cancers. Well, if you'd have shut your damn mouth, maybe none of that stuff would have flew in it. And
I got the cancer.
Anton Chigurh, played by Javier Bardem.
I need you to step out of the car, sir.
Let me tell you, this about to be one of the best villains, got to be one of the best villains that I have seen in a while. Most people use their guns, their knives, but he had some shit that just, that's all you heard. So it's like now when I go outside, you know, and I hear that noise, I'm like, did something just pass my damn ear? I don't know. I'd be kind of worried, but ain't nobody looking for me, so I'm good. He really didn't have no regards to life, if you want to ask me.
Didn't mean nothing.
It wasn't about the money to him. It was just the principle. When somebody like him has a job to do, they do it. You want to be careful who you get involved with. Tommy Lee Jones, he plays Sheriff Ed Thompson Bell. He seems a little disconnected to me, and maybe that's because he's been on the job for so long, over 25 years. If you guys can recall, in the intro monologue of the film, he discussed about him being sheriff at the same time as his daddy, and that made his dad real proud. To me, at this point, I think he's seen so much, and because this is something he's never seen before, maybe he's just disconnected and don't believe that it's real, as he says that in the movie. Deputy Wendell, who's played by Garrett Dillahunt, I like his character because he played it well. He played a character, to me, just, you know, he was just new to the job. Maybe he didn't spend a lot of time in training, because some of the questions he asked in there was just kind of weird.
Oh, Sheriff!
I think Woody Harrelson did a great job. I just felt like they didn't give him his respect due from White Men Can't Jump, meaning that his character should have lasted a little bit longer than that. He should have been able to kill somebody or something like that. My worst scenes, I would say, or the dumbest, should I say, all involve pretty much Llewellyn. First, Llewellyn going back to scene. What the hell was you thinking, man? Llewellyn, I just don't get that part of it. You almost deserve to die for what you did on that one. Llewellyn was very dumb. Again, who finds that type of money and don't look in the bag to see if there's a tracker? I don't care if that's 1932 or whatever the case may be. Look in the damn bag and see if it's a tracker in there. Come on, man. Who the hell you thought you was going to stop with that damn gun? You took the tracker out and put it on the desk. That's what he did. Instead of just putting it on the desk, you had 5 minutes. Before, when you put it on the desk, you waited, saw this man turn the light off in the hallway, waited he come back, and then wait till you shoot, and then you shoot. By that time, I would have had done, took that money, put that tracker, put it on there, threw that out the suitcase out the window, jumped out, and then I would have been gone with the suitcase. When he did all that shooting through the door, I would have been gone. My favorite scenes, of course, all involve Chigurh. I love his interaction with the old man, of course. It almost was like a game in the game.
What business is it of yours? Where I'm from? Friendo?
I think the old man also was really confused, also, obviously, you know, because he didn't know what the guy really wanted. Chigurh was just in there effing with his head. One of my other favorite scenes would be Chigurh's killing of the 3 Mexicans in the hotel, because they were very much in the wrong place at the wrong time. They had nothing to do with the situation, but that shows how much this guy was a stone cold killer, and it didn't matter who you were. So that could happen in real life. You're just in the wrong hotel room, so keep your strap. So to end this off, I would like to say the movie was overall a great movie. I will say, a little too long, maybe by like 10 minutes. They could have cut a few things out. This movie could have easily been called WWABMND. That's if Llewellyn as a character was a black man, and that would stand
what would a bitch ass nigga do?
No, it would stand for what would a black man not do. because he would not have took his black ass back out there to that scene once he found that money. He would not have gave a damn about anything else going on about standing, and he damn sure wouldn't have stayed in that cheap ass hotel. You probably would have caught that nigga based on him staying in some that they know he couldn't afford 2 weeks ago. So all I'm saying, what a black man would not have done is carried his black ass back out there to that scene. He would have got on the plane and flew his ass out the country because we know our luck ain't that damn good.
No country for this man.
No country for this black man. And all I want to say, that's the trailer.
In the process of getting this paper, we gon' light up. We gon' light up. It's going down on Friday.
Movie land. All right, guys. Hey, thanks, Tarantino. And don't forget, cast me in your next movie or it's over.
Yes.
Over.
All right. We do our research.
All right, Dave, tell them what we mean when we do our research. And speaking of that, guys, hey, there's a store out there. Tell them where they can go to get these awesome shirts now.
Oh, shit. Yeah, get that right at ttft.live and hit shop in the menu. It'll take you right to all the awesome products that you're seeing on the screen.
Now.
All right, we do our research, and we did a hell of a lot of research for this one, so strap in. No Country for Old Men is included in the 1001 movies you must see before you die, compiled by the writer, producer, critic Steven Schneider. It is also in the official top 250 narrative feature films on Letterboxd.
This was written and directed by the world famous or infamous Coen Brothers.
It is based on the novel by Cormac McCarthy.
Starring Javier Bardem, Tommy Lee Jones, Josh Brolin.
The cinematography is by Roger Deakins, who is a frequent collaborator with the Coen Brothers. He also shot Barton Fink, the Hudsucker Proxy, which apparently during the shooting of that, he made an impression on Tim Robbins because that same year he shot The Shawshank Redemption. And then the next year, in 1995, he shot Dead Man Walking, which was directed by Tim Robbins. He also shot for the Coen Brothers Fargo, The Big Lebowski, Oh Brother Where Art Thou, The Man Who Wasn't There, Intolerable Cruelty, The Lady Killers, A Serious Man, True Grit, and Hail Caesar. He's pretty much the official eyes of the Coen Brothers. The only films he didn't shoot were their first three, being Blood Simple, Raising Arizona, and Miller's Crossing. Those were actually shot by Barry Sonnenfeld, who, for those that don't know, went on to be the famous director who did The Addams Family, all of them, Get Shorty franchise, and the original Men in Black trilogy.
What'd you call me?
Huh? And Roger also didn't shoot a few in recent history: Burn After Reading, Inside Llewellyn Davis, and The Ballad of Buster Scruggs. Some of the other films that Roger Deakins shot outside of the Coen Brothers universe, because this guy is a legend, so I had to bring these up. He did 1984, Courage Under Fire, The Hurricane, A Beautiful Mind, The Village, Jarhead, Skyfall, and the recently critically acclaimed 1917, which had some of the most insane. That was that one-shot movie with the whole war movie. Looks like it was one take from beginning to end. He did that, yeah. No Country was edited by the Coen Brothers. They've edited a majority of their films under the pseudonym Roderick James. They came up with a single-person alter ego due to guild membership rules forbidding two co-credited editors on the same film. Roderick James was nominated for an Oscar for Fargo as well as No Country for Old Men, but has never taken home the award. The Academy Awards also has strict rules against nominating more than one person per film as director, but they make exceptions when the co-directors are an established duo. This only happened twice in the history of the awards, with Jerome Robbins and Robert Wise winning for West Side Story in 1961, and the Coen Brothers winning for No Country for Old Men.
So what you're telling me is we're never going to get an award for doing stuff together.
Not unless we are an established duo by the system.
Good thing we got 20 years of history. Help!
The release date for No Country for Old Men is November 21st, 2007. Other films that came out around that time were Disney's Enchanted, Hitman, The Mist, Alex Jones's Endgame. Where's my Alex Jones fans at? Frog's gay. A movie came out that I have absolutely never heard of that has the strangest, most 2007-ist cast of Who's Who ever. It's called American Breakdown. But I've also seen it listed as Stories USA, depending on where you look online. Yeah. I'd watch that one night. Mm-hmm. In Paris.
Ooh.
The budget and income for No Country for Old Men, it was shot for $25 million. It And compare that to Death to Smoochie we did last episode. I think it was 500 million.
Where the did the other 20 million go?
I don't know. And here's the crazy thing. Let me get back to that. That'll be in the facts. There you go. There's a lot of money went to something crazy for No Country for Old Men.
Yeah, blow.
Close. It starts with a B.
Bitcoin.
It brought in a little over 1 million on its opening weekend, with a present worldwide gross of $171,627,166. It runs at 2 hours and 2 minutes, which until their recently released Ballad of Buster Scruggs, No Country was the longest running Coen Brothers movie and the first to exceed 2 hours. I told you there was a lot of research this time.
Oh, you did it, kid.
While most productions run through anywhere from 700,000 to 1 million feet of film, the Coen Brothers shot just 250,000 feet due to the film's tight production. It was edited using Final Cut Pro.
Right.
This was 2007. It was a little bit different then. They went downhill. It was the first film edited using Final Cut Pro to win an Oscar.
Windows Movie Maker much?
Probably the last film to win an Oscar, too. Yep. It was filmed in Texas and New Mexico from May 23rd, 2006 to August 16th, 2006. Most of the movie was shot in Las Vegas, New Mexico. That's Las Vegas, New Mexico, not Las Vegas, Nevada. And Tommy Lee Jones convinced the Coen Brothers to film some scenes on location in West Texas. And speaking of locations, when Llewellyn Moss crossed the border into Mexico, he became the first character in a Coen Brothers movie to set foot outside of the United States. All their films have taken place within this country's borders. And
hey, when I took this job, it was to protect you against enemies, foreign and domestic, unless it's Coen Brothers.
Yes.
There you go.
If you're going outside of the country, this is No Country for the Coen Brothers.
Hey, right. Great.
How about you connect some shit? Oh, Lord.
Well, guys, it's time for you now to close your eyes and get on your knees, which I always found weird because now that I'm older, you want me to pray or you want to rape me? Like, how about I want to see my religion? But with that being said, guys, it's time for the LOC, locking it down, the Lord of Connections. Turn that cross upside down and put it on the wall in the mirror, and it's right back side up. Guys, this week, what we're talking about is the connections.
But you got to say Jesus Christ 3 times.
No, you don't. Candyman 5 times. Watch what happens. And so, with that being said, guys, No Country for Old Men, connections. Let's jump right into it. Dave, it's not going to be long, but it's going to be hard. That's what she said.
That's all right. I got some follow-ups on the connections.
Follow-ups or FUs, because they both start the same way. All right. Resident Evil. What did I do there? Where did I get that at? Resident Evil. Help me. You don't play video games, so how the f*** would you know? The connection would be Resident Evil in the scene where Llewellyn is running away. It's one of the, first off, let's start here. Lassie will never be used again. F*** Lassie. That dog that ran off land and jumped 30 feet into the water as if that shit like a f***ing dolphin dove into the water. But with that being said...
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, you're talking... Was the dog's name Lassie? Or
no, I'm just saying like the original Lassie.
Okay.
Him, Mr. Ed, all of them are f***ed up. Now, Stuart Little, this animal, he didn't even have a f***ing name because he's dead now.
He was the Terminator.
Oh, yeah, he was. So he jumps in the f***ing river and I guess, dog paddling. See what I did there? He's dog paddling, and then right when he comes out, I see Llewellyn down there trying to get the water out the gun because it's out the Glock, and I say, oh no, they're finna go Resident Evil. The motherfucking dog runs and jumps up at him right before he's like, "Ka." I was like, that took me back to my Resident Evil days.
You know what? I can appreciate that connection because I played Resident Evil just enough to know the demon dogs.
Demon dogs, or look at that! Almost you went supernatural on me. The movie, the show Supernatural.
Okay.
Winchester's.
Accidentally.
Hellhound.
100% accidental. I've never seen a single second of that show.
Stop talking to me. All right. Oh, guys, here it comes. It's not fun if we can't have Heath Ledger connection to the dark. It's not a Heath Ledger connection, but it's definitely a Dark Knight connection. All right, guys, if you notice, one of the central things of this film, and I know you should have known this, and if you did not know this, I'm writing you one demerit. One of the things in this film that really I loved from the get-go was the coin flip. That is a classic theme from the villain Two-Face. Now, one deeper connection, which is why I am the Lord of Connections, David. Could you remind me, didn't someone play Two-Face before?
Tommy Lee Jones.
See what I just did there. So there we go, guys.
Who also played in Men in Black.
With
Josh Brolin, who played the younger version of Tommy Lee Jones.
What are you doing here?
I'm just...
so if you want to play that game, he also started out in Men in Black, he has a thing for Mexicans.
Who, Tommy Lee Jones?
Yeah.
How say you? Why?
Because he went looking for some Mexicans at the start of Men in Black, at the beginning of the film, and then in this film he's still looking for Mexicans, and he has a slur against me. I know it's true because I'm the Lord of Connections.
He makes a living in both films out of deporting illegals.
Right, and when I keep saying Mexicans, I'm speaking in my Tommy Lee Jones sir voice here. So that's not Mr. Royal. Mr. Royal loves all. Well, the yellow, black, and white, they are precious in my sight. T loves the love of the people of the world. All right, and with that being said, guys, all right.
Cinco de Mayo.
Oh, this is gonna f you up. Were you in a car accident? Were you in a car accident? Were you in a car accident? No, were you in a car accident? And he was in the movie Road Trip. His car got f***ed up. He has the nerve to ask this motherfucker, was he in a car accident? That's our guy.
Who?
Hey, kick a rock, shake a rock, the big black girl in Road Trip. That's him. He's on. Oh, motherfucker! Don't make me. No. Don't make me. You want to bet? That's him. He's like, hey man, were you in an accident? Were you in an accident? That's him. I'm telling you, that's him.
I would recognize that nose no matter how much it is.
Tarantino. No, I'm right. I'm not going to look for it, but I'm telling you that I'm right. He's on the bridge. He's like, I'll pay you for that shirt. Can I get you? Can I get
guy one of those three guys?
Yes.
No.
No. You know.
100%.
No. You're wrong. You're wrong.
No.
You're wrong.
All right, we'll see.
No, we won't see. We're doing this live. We're doing this now. Everything that's happening now is happening now. I'm the Lord of Connection. I got Prince Paul over here. Can't even. Jesus Christ. I am. Shameless plug, IMDb. We love you. We've trashed you all season, but if you give us a job, we'll turn that frown upside down.
You're talking about the new guy.
Yes.
Yep. Nope.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. And if I'm wrong, I'm not going to be wrong. So who gives a f? All right. We're talking. Okay. All right. So we're live, and we're the new guy, DJ Qualls. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Okay. Don't worry.
You were so concerned about getting something to eat. You're about to get a full plate of crow.
DJ Qualls, right?
Yeah, you saw it, but you're not seeing that name in No Country for Old Men, and you're
that's not what he was credited as.
He's only ever been credited as one thing. I'm pretty sure he stopped acting a few years ago.
I'm right. I'm real. I'm real.
I'm real.
Hey, he's gonna come back. Hey, that guys. I'm right. Okay, and last but not least, with that being said, here, I reference it to there's sometimes where these sheriffs didn't wear a gun. I didn't wear a gun. What I found very the connection to that is that Andy Griffith didn't wear a gun, and they were said that he kind of modeled this character after that.
When a man carries a gun all the time, the respect he thinks he's getting might really be fear.
What I found even funnier was that even after Andy Griffith was a sheriff just like him, he went on to do Matlock, which is still trying to figure out stuff and investigate, and that to the end, which is what Sheriff Ed Tom Bell did.
Yeah, the aging detective.
Other than that one uncredited scene for DJ Qualls, guys, those are your connections, and I am Lord. You should not pray to me. Just pay me.
I have a few connections that I stumbled across in my research. If you don't mind, if the
everybody got a plug, nobody want to put it in.
Anti-Lord of Connections can come in. I want to connect it to real life. In the novel that the film is based on, Sheriff Bell talks about the shooting and killing of a federal judge in San Antonio. The story was set in 1980, referring to a real-life incident that took place in 1979 where Judge John Howard Wood was shot and killed in San Antonio by Texas freelance contract killer Charles Harrelson. And here's where it gets weird. Charles Harrelson is the father of Woody Harrelson, who stars in the film as Carson Wells, the contract killer.
Now that is fucked up.
Yeah.
We talked about that a lot when I watched it.
We're connected to There Will Be Blood. While shooting in Marfa, Texas, Paul Thomas Anderson's film There Will Be Blood was also shooting nearby. A wide landscape shot had to be rescheduled due to a gigantic cloud of dark smoke floating into view from pyrotechnics testing on the neighboring production, setting an oil derrick ablaze. Filming was resumed on No Country the next day when the smoke finally cleared. A year and a half later, both films were the leading contenders at the Academy Awards.
Go figure.
And to the Titanic. This was the second Best Picture Academy Award winner to be produced, written, directed, and edited by the same person, or in this case, the brothers. Mm-hmm. The first was James Cameron with the Titanic. And of course, the other Coen Brothers movie, Fargo, it's easy to make that connection. The case that held the money in No Country for Old Men is the same exact case used in Fargo, used for the same exact purpose. And my last one that I found was Psycho. You got Llewellyn Moss on the lam with stolen money, much like the lead character in Psycho. Hides out in the hotel in a far off abandoned place, just like Psycho. Anton Chigurh murders the hotel guest through the shower curtain, like the classic Psycho scene. The framing of Carson Wells climbing the hotel staircase resembles the shot of Detective Milton Arbogast climbing the stairs at the Bates home before he is murdered.
Nobody should be at the Bates home. Kathy Bates. Misery.
Yeah.
All right, guys, here we go. It's time for one of your favorite segments. All my Hulkamaniacs out there, pull open that shirt and hear me out. This is where we discuss our visions of what the film could have been, our theories, our our Law and Order, whatever you want to call it. So this is what I like to call this. My hear me out is the life of Sam Gerard. I liken this to this. To me, Tommy Lee Jones, his character, Sheriff Bill, has after his whole movie career that he's been in, from U.S. Marshals to The Fugitive to anything where he's pretty much seen. Just think about the movies Tommy Lee Jones has been in and all the stuff he's seen. Mm-hmm. So it's just literally like this film was like, to me, his swan song of like, I'm not doing shit. Nope, I'm here. I am here. So to me, Sam Gerard, after everything he went through, he moved to Texas. And he just wanted to be that Andy Griffith sheriff. He didn't want to see anything else. He didn't want any problem. He just wanted to drink his coffee, drink about his dad, do things like that.
Easy life.
Yeah, the easy life. So, and if you remember at the end, and I believe it was in U.S. Marshals, the lady tells him, "Take a vacation, Sam." Nope. And then he finally does it. So finally, after all these years, this is retirement home. And even at his retirement home, that's why, he just gets there. He's been with Wesley Snipes, Harrison Ford. He gets there. He was like, I don't want to push my chips into the middle of the table. I don't know if I like what I see it. I don't understand it. Like, so, to me, like, he's like, man, I can't get away from this life. That's my hear me out.
Okay.
Yes.
I like that.
Thank you.
All right. So my hear me out is that the Coen Brothers tell you that spoiler alert. The Coen Brothers tell you in the very beginning of the movie that Llewellyn is going to die. When he's out there hunting by himself and he goes tracking that deer that he shot. Mm-hmm. He comes across the black dog. And the fact that the black dog, later on you realize where the black dog came from. But in that moment, when you first see it as the audience, it feels so out of place. It feels so out of place that it must mean something. Because it stuck out to me, I was like, what does black dog mean? So I looked it up, and in different cultures, a black dog is usually used to represent a bad omen related to death and evil. These are two things that Llewellyn gets himself mixed up with, like, shortly after this, pretty much by following that black dog to where it came from. He comes across two trees shortly after that, which... Everything in this movie is about duality, the coin flip. That's like the theme of the movie. Everything is duality. There's always choices where one is certain death, one is continue living, I guess. But he goes and he sees two trees, and these two trees are perfectly framed to give you this sense of like options. There's option A, option B, the tree of life or the tree of death. 50-50. Mm-hmm. He doesn't listen to the warning of the black dog. He chooses death. He literally goes to a tree with a dead man on it and takes his briefcase. Whenever you take a briefcase from a dead man, that's got you got to know that what your demise is going to be not unlike this dude's. Right. So as the omen promised, he soon encounters pure evil and eventual death. When he goes to the motel, he stays in room 138. Okay. And if you look at that number, it's 13 and 8, or bad luck infinity. Mm-hmm. So there's like wait a minute. Those numbers synonymized with those words. Well, 13 is like the bad luck. Okay. And then 8 is the infinity.
I like it.
And then going with duality, Sheriff Tom Bell. When he gets to the motel, he's also presented with two choices, and again, it frames that shot just like the trees, where you have these two doors and the choice. Mm-hmm. Unlike Llewellyn, Tom Bell made the right choice. He went into the room that didn't have Chigurh in it. That's ultimately my theory, is that if you pay attention in the first 5 minutes, they tell you visually through metaphors that Llewellyn is going to die.
Tell And guys, you just heard us out, but we'd also like to hear you out. And where we like to hear you out at tonight. Hey, you should be talking right now. Get in that live chat. Tell us what you want. You can join us every other Thursday in the live chat. Hey, we don't know everything. We just know most things, and we need you for the rest. So, hey, let us hear you out.
All right. Casting call. In casting call, we get to play the casting
call
director.
Or come swap with us, the players. Like, come with us and swap these people out.
I don't know why you're pushing that so hard.
That's what she said.
And come swap with us. We take the lead actors of the movie, and we get to play casting director and decide who would have been better or more interesting in those roles. I did the three main. I did Tommy Lee Jones, Josh Brolin, and
I normally don't look
RBA.
into. Oh man, you got some good ones. So let me start. You did 4. So no, you start because you did 4. Because I did. Okay, go ahead.
I need to do mine all 3 at the same time.
Okay. That's fair.
For it to play.
And I'm looking at it. I don't like peeking, but I'm liking what I'm seeing. I'm liking it. I'm looking and I'm liking. All right. I only did. I only did 2 because I'll say this is. I think Woody Harrelson was perfectly cast. I didn't want to see anybody else in that cast. Like because of the connection you had already made with his dad and everything. Out of respect, I didn't want to trade. So I only did 2 to be honest with you. So I'll start with Sheriff Bell. For Sheriff Bell. I wanted to see Tom Hanks. I really wanted to see a Tom Hanks because it's nothing Tom Hanks.
In place of Tommy Lee Jones?
Yes.
You think he'd be old enough?
That's what I thought, and I wrestled back and forth with that. But I asked myself, listen, Tom, he made me believe he was the little boy in Big. Like Tom is nothing. Like I didn't think he could be a captain of a ship. It's nothing. He's not been anything. He's nailed everything he's been. And granted, and when you say is he old enough, maybe like yeah.
They could have stuck some prosthetics on him, made him look old. He would have embodied that.
If they did it for Pacino and De Niro and Pesci and The Irishman, it's a Benjamin Button effect.
Just reverse it.
Right,
Yeah.
and plus we haven't said Tom Hanks' name in 2 seasons. If we don't say that, they're gonna take us off the air.
Could you imagine Walter Matthau playing that role, just slowly, old-manishly chasing?
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, no, what's my guy's name? All in the Family. I just thought about it. Archie Bunker.
Yeah.
There we go. All right. Yeah, I like. Hey, replace. Hey, swap with me on that one. Archie Bunker. Tom, get out of here. Wilson.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Thank you. And for Mr. I'm glad we didn't have the same one, but I thought about that name a lot right there. For Mr. Antoine Chigurh.
Mm-hmm.
We almost had to Tarantino up. Bryan Cranston.
Yeah, I could see that.
I really
It would
saw
have been a very different villain, but
right.
He
could pull it off. Don't say he can't, because he will.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything he wouldn't attempt to pull off.
There you go. All right,
That's your 2.
That's my 2.
All right, my 3. I did Tom Bell, Tommy Lee Jones, Llewellyn Moss, Josh Brolin, and Anton Chigurh, Javier Bardem. I'm looking for the Big Lebowski reunion. You got the Coen Brothers writing, directing, so why not have John Goodman play Tom Bell, Jeff Bridges plays Llewellyn Moss, and creepy-ass Steve Buscemi is playing Anton Chigurh. And tell me Steve Buscemi couldn't have killed that role. Like, think of him in Con Air as the psycho in Con Air. Those big bulging eyes staring at you. Call it.
Yeah, it's pretty smart, wasn't it, Punk? No, it wasn't. And now you're dead.
Yeah.
Oh my, yeah. I can see that happening, man. That is wow.
Yeah, I thought that would and John Goodman and Jeff Bridges. Jeff Bridges would have done the cow. I mean, True Grit. He would have done great as Llewellyn Moss, and John Goodman as a aging sheriff. Yeah, I thought that, and it just would have been so natural. They work well together with the Coen Brothers. That's my casting call.
All right, guys. Just like the last segment, who would you have had? Who would you have swapped with? And so, just let us know.
And here are some real life casting calls that were made in real life. Javier Bardem was reluctant. When approached by the Coen Brothers, he said, "I don't drive and I speak bad English and I hate violence." The Coen Brothers responded with, "That's why we called you." Bardem took the role because it was his dream to work with the Coen Brothers. His hairstyle was modeled after a brothel patron from a 1979 photo. When Bardem first saw his new haircut, he said, "Oh no, now I won't get laid for the next 2 months." Coen Brothers responded by happily high-fiving each other, satisfied that Chigurh would look as creepy as they had hoped. Bardem became the first actor to win Best Actor in a supporting role at the Academy Awards, Screen Actors Guild Awards, BAFTA Awards, Golden Globe Awards, and Critics' Choice Awards.
Did you also know he was the first Spanish actor to win an Oscar and was also the first Spanish actor to be nominated for an Oscar way back in 2000 before Night balls.
I did not know that. Josh Brolin went all out to secure his role in the film. He caught wind of the production while working on Grindhouse and asked director Robert Rodriguez to borrow a camera for his audition. He ended up having his audition elaborately shot with a theatrical camera, and it was directed by Quentin Tarantino. When the Coens saw the tape, their response was, "We love the lighting." 2 days after getting the part, Brolin broke his shoulder in a motorcycle accident. In an interview with Now magazine, he recalled thinking, "Fucking shit, I really want to work with the Coens," as he flew over the car that hit him. Thankfully, his injury did not have any impact on his role in the film because his character gets shot in the shoulder very early on. And contrary to how they normally do things, the Coen Brothers did not write parts in this film with actors in mind. Stephen Root is actually the only actor in No Country who they have worked with previously. Stephen Root, most known as Milton on Office Space, has pretty much been in every single Coen Brothers movie.
I'm sorry, I have to do this.
Go ahead.
Oh, that's who he meets with at the end, towards the end,
Yeah.
before Ellis. Damn it, I knew that. Okay,
The dude's a chameleon.
Yeah, he is, man. God damn, we're gonna need you to move way back. Rest in peace. Now, joke's not on you. Mr. Heath Ledger was in talks to play Llewellyn Moss, which eventually went to Josh Brolin. Now, Ledger withdrew to take some time off. He eventually would play a Chigurh-like psychopath killer, the Joker, in The Dark Knight.
His posthumous Oscar win for that film would succeed Javier Bardem's turn as Anton Chigurh. No Country was voted the second best film of 2008 by Empire magazine, narrowly missing the top spot to The Dark Knight. Garrett Dillahunt, who plays Wendell, auditioned 5 times for the role of Llewellyn Moss. Dillahunt also starred in 2009's The Road, another film based on a book by Cormac McCarthy.
Now, Mark Strong auditioned for the role of Chigurh, and he actually made it to the last 2 spots, which is no simple feat. But, of course, the role did go to Mr. Javier Bardem.
Tommy Lee Jones was the first actor in the movie to be cast, and Tiffany DuPont auditioned for the role of Carla Jean Moss.
Man,
And that is casting call.
That's what I'm talking about. Hey, guys, you better tell that wildcat behind the wheel, chill out.
All right.
Hey, Pop Quiz Hotshot, what segment is it?
Pop Quiz Hotshot.
All right, tell them what that is, D.
Pop Quiz Hotshot is the top 10 facts about the film that we are covering, that film being No Country for Old Men. So here are the top 10 facts about No Country for Old Men.
Number 10, Easter egg. In the film, Carla Jean Moss watches the crime drama 1953's Flight to Tangier on TV, a film about a mysterious plane carrying $3 million that arrives in the Tangier airport, and various interested parties try to grab the cash.
See how attention to detail that movie is? Like, our movie is about this, so let's not have her watching anything. Let's have her watching something that has pretty much the same plot.
There you go.
Number 9, For Reals. In the opening narration, Bell refers to the sheriffs of 2 other Texas counties named Jim Scarborough and Gaston Boykins, if that is a Texas-ass name, who were 2 real Texas sheriffs at the time the film takes place in. Number 8. Parodies abound. There is no shortage of No Country parodies. SNL did There Will Be Milkshakes for Old Men. Disaster Movie spoofed the Anton Chigurh character, as well as The Simpsons in Waverly Hills, 9021 Go. He is also spoofed in Spanish movie Angie Tribeca, 2019's Let's Kill Mom, and South Park Banned in China. And who could forget the 2008 gay porn parody, Hung Country for Young Men?
Whoa. All right, that's what he said. All right, and with that being said, body count. 22 unfortunate souls meet their maker in No Country for Old Men, which brings to your point of duality. 11 probably went up, 11 probably went down.
Yeah. Nice. Number 6, Zoss Floss. After blowing up the car, Chigurh enters Mike Zoss' pharmacy. This is a reference to Mike Zoss Drugs, a Minneapolis pharmacy where the Coen Brothers spent time in their youth. They also named their production company Mike Zoss Productions.
Number 5, weapon of choice. The weapon that Chigurh's character uses does not actually exist. It was created for the film, based on a captive bolt pistol, commonly used to stun cows before slaughtering them, which we heard Chef Bill say early in the film.
Yes, a sound of a nail gun
Damn
is
it.
used for the sound effect when he fires the pistol. Number 4, Keeping Up with the Jones. Although top billed on posters and marketing, Tommy Lee Jones had the least amount of screen time out of the 3 main characters. And in April of 2010, he got paid extra for that least amount of screen time when Paramount Pictures was forced to pay him a $15 million bonus when an arbitrator found that the studio's lawyers made an error when drafting Jones' deal to appear in the film. So he was paid $15 million after the fact on a film that had a total budget of $25 million.
There's the answer.
There's more answer coming too.
Go for it. I was gonna do number 3, but I saw it. Okay. I saw the line. I'm like, you know what? When I see hate, I'm gonna let you go with it.
Number 3, barely composed. Composer Carter Burrell's score consists of just 16 minutes of music, and that 16 minutes of music is barely heard in the movie. Burrell also composed Fargo, The Big Lebowski, Oh Brother Where Art Thou, The Man Who Wasn't There, Intolerable Cruelty, The Lady Killers, Burn After Reading, A Serious Man, True Grit, Hail Caesar, and The Ballad of Buster Scruggs for the Coen Brothers. Outside of the Coen Brothers, he also scored Blair Witch 2, Book of Shadows. And I do have a note here that speaking of Blair Witch, give that movie a chance. It catches a whole bunch of shit online, so just watch it and enjoy it for the fun that it is and how awesome Jeffrey Donovan is. Just enjoy the ride. Stop comparing it to the first.
And that was the Blair Pitch Project.
So-
3, or should I say, you want me to say it again? Because he wants you guys really to watch it, Blair Witch 2. But I'll go to my number 2.
So number 2 is where a good chunk of the money went.
I'm going to find out with you guys right now. Number 2, Bloody Hell. An unexpected expense for the film was a large amount of extremely expensive fake blood. No CGI here, costing $800 per gallon. And you're complaining about gas? In the scene where Llewellyn stumbles across the aftermath of a shootout as many extras are laying on the ground in pools of blood, it was necessary to use a special blood blend as opposed to the traditional set blood containing sugar to avoid the extras being invaded by bugs and ants. Man, that.
Yeah, somebody was spinning some bullshit and made a whole bunch of money off of it.
Yeah.
And
special blend, man. Look at it.
It repels ants. Number 1, just don't put sugar in it.
Right.
Number 1, science-backed. In January 2018's Business Insider, an article reported that a group of psychiatrists who studied over 400 films identifying 126 #who is Robert Partridge psychopathic characters, they chose Javier Bardem's Anton Chigurh as the most clinically accurate portrayal of a psychopath.
I disagree with that, but hey, guess no one saw Joaquin Phoenix. With that being
I guess no one saw I'm Gonna Kill Someone this Friday.
I was in it. Or was I? We still don't know. And guys, that was Pop Quiz Hot Shot. All right, guys, it's time not for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but
7 minutes in heaven.
Dave, tell them what that is.
7 minutes in heaven are our favorite scenes in the movie.
All right, guys, I'm going to jump right into it. One of my favorite scenes in the movie, because I never, ever number mine, but I'm going to tell you mine. My first time giving this film a watch was the satisfaction. It's like, it almost made me, I call it the cuckold killer. The first death that we really see Chigurh do is, of course, to the officer, and I have questions about that later off screen, about the officer, of course, who arrests him at the beginning of the film, and he goes to the sheriff's office, which I, at this point, surmises to get information. That's why I think he needs information, but we'll talk about that later. But my point is, when he comes, first off, when he reaches his hands over to take the handcuffs from behind and in front of him, that made me think of the movie Split so much. Or when the old boy used to be like, the beast is coming. I was all like, oh snap! So he comes back up, then he kills the guy. But what made it one of my favorite scenes was it shows you how much struggle was going on the floor with all the marks and everything. But more importantly, he doesn't look at him not one time. And right when the guy dies, it's almost like he came. He was just like. And I was just like, oh, he enjoyed that. Like, this is different. He's not a killer. This is different. So that was one of my favorite scenes right there.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I did really appreciate the attention to detail when they came back to that and they showed the floor with all the stuff.
Like, it was a struggle here. Somebody got up.
And everybody that I've seen that scene with, they all are like, oh my God. Oh, they're like so shocked by it's not even... I've seen way more violent stuff in other movies, but the way they do it just feels so anticlimactic and real. Like,
and in fairness, look how he's laying on him. I'm not sure he didn't give it to him. What the hell was happening down there on that floor?
I know we usually do 3 scenes, but I got 5.
Okay.
So
I'll keep up with you. Go ahead.
my number 5 is when Llewellyn tries to get back into America. When that the officer is like looking at him, he's like,
Then I ask you again, how you come to be out here with no clothes?
and he goes, I got on an overcoat. And the way that the dude looks at him after he says
You
that,
slacking me?
No, are you jacking with me?
Oh, no, sir.
Don't jack with me.
Yes, sir.
The Coen Brothers are so good at taking a simple line and then just doing a different version of it right afterwards, and they're kind of making a theme to the conversation, and it becomes so funny. And then right after that, Llewellyn goes into the store, and he's like, "You get a lot of fellas in here without clothes," and the guy just looks at him. He's like,
No, sir. It's unusual.
"Scene."
Oh my gosh. One of my favorite. It almost made it. Really, it was a mixture of 7 Minutes in Heaven and You're Gonna Need a Bigger Boat, which will be coming up next. But one of them to me was it's when he goes into what we'll talk about. I call it Satan's office, as you will. They never really describe it, which is fine. He goes in there. He Sugar bursts back into the door. He kills who I called the oracle, if you will, the receptionist, the guy that is out there. You know, the guy. So when he kills him, he's standing there. He does not look back at the other guy, and then he says to him, he basically said he gave the Mexicans a receiver. We felt that more people looking for. He was like, foolish.
You pick the one right tool.
And that to me was so telling of him and his whole character. He feels as if he is a tool of fate and injustice and Mother Nature and Father Crime Time. He is a tool of fate. So you chew and he felt like, why the would you get a chop you up? Why would you get a fucking saw and then come out with a fucking trimmer? I'm the buzz saw. It's gonna happen. Like, don't send nobody to after me. That's how Woody Harrelson got up. Go ahead.
My number 4 is the hotel scene where Llewellyn finds the transponder.
Mm-hmm. So that just ain't right.
That just had such. I mean, he was badass.
Yeah, he
because
was.
if I found out like, oh shit, there it is, throw that way, run the other way.
Right.
That's my first instinct. But he is a different kind of man. He is like, I'm gonna set that right there, and that's my bait. I'm going fishing, and he just sits there on the bed
In front of the door. He's not a smart man.
Oh no, he's smart. He turns that light off and he looks. Although if he would have did if Sugar would have did what he usually does, just
right. Yeah, he's done.
Yeah,
he's done that.
just like,
he still got him with the little thing like, oh
yeah. But and it's they build suspense so well in that scene where he turns the light out, the way the footsteps walk away, and then they come back, and then that chase that happens right after that, where it's pretty much the first time that the villain and the hero face off for the first time. So it's building to that, and the way that guy gets shot in the truck while he's like, I'm not trying to get anybody hurt or something like that. It's like, bam,
boom, gone. Now,
and he's having to drive the truck. Like, yeah, it was all very, very well played.
Oh, it was a lot going on. Now, let me tell you this. Based off of that scene, that's a good segue. One of my favorite scenes, I like to call it the blood splatter effect. You brought up earlier about how it to me, this is the one thing, like, they don't spoon feed you anything, but one of the rewarding things for me from watching this film, what I like to call it the trackers, because Sugar was a tracker, so was Woody Harrelson's character, and so was Llewellyn. If you notice how he saw the blood splatter at the beginning when he was trying to find the deer and the dog came by, notice that's just him seeing that. Sugar looks at the blood splatter the same way when he's trying to figure out what the Llewellyn went. He looks at the blood like, oh, he's behind me. He jumps away. It just shows you that this is not bullshit. They're finding each other. They're both trackers, and that's why he literally tells them, I'm coming after you. I was like, oh my God, you got to worry about me. But like, man, and side note, I'm fanboying out a little bit here. I wanted that trailer he went back to when he hit the gun under there to be that same trailer from Kill Bill. Remember with the guy with the gun and he was out there waiting on. I was like, in my mind, that's that same trailer, even though it's not. But yeah, man, that was one of that tracking scene. I don't think enough people talk about that, because when we were speaking with Tarantino, he was like, man, how did he know to do this? How did he know that? I'm like, bro, he's a tracker. This is what they do. He didn't need that transponder, because Woody Harrelson even tells later, well, I found you in about 3 hours. Yes, sir.
My number 3 is the scene where Anton takes out Carson. The whole scene is shot beautifully. The way everything in this movie is so fantastically anticlimactic, the way and it's done right. Remember I told you before we watched it, I was like, this is how you do anticlimactic. If you don't just do it for the sake of it and it just pisses the audience off, when it's done right like this, there's a meaning to the anticlimax of it. He comes like a thief in the night. Like, you don't even know that he's shown up and he's about to take your life, and they play so there's no like boom when he enters the frame. There's no like jump cut or anything like that. You just see Woody Harrelson casually walking up the stairs, and then here comes Anton like he's an extra in the movie, just casually walking up.
The part about that, Woody Harrelson's walking up the stairs, he's wiping his face like, you're like, no, not yet.
Yeah.
I thought it was no country hung for young, because he's like, let's go to your room. I'm like,
and the way that's played out, like Woody Harrelson the whole time, from the second that he senses him behind him, he knows, all right, my minutes are numbered now. Like he respects what he does so well that he knows he's done.
He knows numbers, but apparently he doesn't know technology. This motherfucker says,
take you to an ATM, there's 14 grand in it.
well, I hope you got a $14,000 a day limit withdrawal.
Yeah.
The fuck are you talking about, Woody?
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
He was scared as this, man.
I love that this scene has one of the coolest lines to describe Anton, where Carson says, "You're crazy."
You mean the nature of this conversation?
I mean the nature of you.
100% correct. Now we would be remiss if I know we both had this scene. I'm pretty sure it's one of very like, to me, I really put it on here, and I think I put that it was, to me, it was, if no one ever sees No Country for Old Men, if you only got about 7 minutes in your life, just watch that convenience store scene, man.
That's my number 2.
Okay, well, I'll just let you go, and then I'll just chip in, because I know we both talked. I know I have it on.
That's what I'm saying.
That is one of my top 10 scenes of suspense films of all time. It instantly jumped in there because it's like so much light, so much dark, and you see it at first. He's not gonna. If you notice, he doesn't just fuck with nobodies. If you're just a normal person, he's not gonna fuck with you. But again, he doesn't like to be tracked. The moment that motherfucker said, "Y'all getting the rain up there?" Where? Well, his place came in from Dallas.
What business is it of yours? Where I'm from? Friendo.
Yeah, and it's such a great scene because, I mean, the writing is fantastic because they take so little words and do have so much power behind them with just little things like, I didn't put nothing up.
Yes, you're dead. You've been putting it up your whole life. You just didn't know it.
Like, are you going to preach me a poem, or are you going to kill me?
And this is what me up. I'm pretty sure, like, don't get me wrong. Listen, the Coen Brothers are great, but in my mind, they just kept this cut because he'd have been eating pistachios for probably like 3 minutes, and he finally was like, but they put it into the line to when the guy said, when he said, when he found out the guy, you married into the wealth. That's what you did. No, you married. Yeah. Well, I mean, if that's what you want to say, that's what happened. Well, what time do you close? Dark. That's not a time. Are you really asking me that right now? Like, the guy should have just shot himself. He is breaking him. You're not a man. You're not a man's man. Fate. And that's when they're talking and they're going back. He's like, call it, man. Just call it.
And you notice when, like, when he walked in, he has another encounter with Llewellyn's secretary or somebody that knows where Llewellyn's whereabouts should be. And when he encounters her, she's just like giving it to him straight. Like,
did you not hear me?
I told you I don't know.
She's mocking him.
I can't tell you. And he looks at her like, almost like he respected her more than that attendant. He's like, all right, she's at least got a pair of balls on her, unlike this other dude. Because it's such an early scene. It does such a great job at setting up Anton's, like, his methodical nature. He's not. That scene lets you know this isn't just like a psychopath who's going on a bloodbath. He's very, there's
calculated.
And he operates by like a certain set of principles. He plays by
Woody Harrelson says that this man's beyond money. You almost say he operates with a certain,
And just in a quick scene, none of that is said. Few words are spoken between him and the gas station attendant. It's entertaining as it's gripping. The beats in it where they are perfect. So you get this perfectly entertaining scene. And you also learn like so much about the character in those short few minutes. It's such a great scene to watch.
One of my other favorite scenes is kind of, to me, and I'm not going to lie to you. The first time I saw this, at a certain point, I almost was starting to ask myself, because when I don't know if you ever thought about this connection in the film itself. Just the film connecting in on itself, was at a certain point when I first saw this, I was like, wait a minute, is Sugar Tommy Ed Bell reincarnated or something like that, because I just start thinking he tells a story about his dad. His dad wasn't there. He's seen so much. Then of course, so I say one of my favorite scenes was when he was like, "Oh, look at that, the milk sweating." So yeah, it goes back to my theory about Sam Gerard.
He goes and drinks
that shit. Yeah, like the f***'s wrong with you, dude?
Oh, shit, that's aggravating.
I mean, anyway, yeah, but he's, as we talked about, him and Sugar both sit down in that same seat, almost for him to get a view of how the killer sees it. And I'm just like, wait a minute, they're trying to tell us like they're not so different.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's again the duality.
Yeah.
He's the flip side of Sugar.
Mm-hmm.
My number one is when Anton finds Carla Jean. That is such a powerful scene when she says, like, she stands up to him and she says, "I won't call it."
Call it.
The Coen don't have no say. It's just you.
I love that it doesn't show him kill her, but if you pay attention to Anton, it's obvious that he did kill her because he doesn't like getting blood on him.
Mm-hmm.
When he walks out of the house, he checks his shoes. There's no reason for him to check his shoes unless there was.
But that's why that was the most violent death, and we never saw it. He stomped her ass out. He didn't have a gun with him.
Even if he shot her and blood got on the floor, he wanted to make sure he didn't track through any.
The shoes, yeah, he's done that.
But the fact that you see him kill all of these like side characters that don't really mean anything to the story, but as far as Carla Jean and even Llewellyn, they both die off screen, which is so cool to me.
I just thought about something. Correct me if I'm wrong. Does he kill any female on screen? Aren't they all men?
Pretty sure. No Country for Old Men, not women.
Ew.
Yeah, just the anticlimactic nature of this movie, from when you see Llewellyn dead after the fact, and then Carla Jean, you don't see her die, and then he just gets into a car accident driving away from there, and just kind of saunters away. And I think that I think he died. I think he went, because if you think about it, everybody in the movie is going to die off screen eventually. Llewellyn, we find him dead.
Mm-hmm.
Carla Jean, we can determine that she's dead based on what he does when he comes out of her house. Tommy Lee Jones' character, he's knocking at death's door because he's old. And then Sugar gets in a car accident. He looks real rough. So we don't see any of the main characters die on screen, so I think he's walking away to die.
Now, one of my last one is not my number one because I don't do them in order. But with that being said, one of my favorite scenes was, of course, again, Woody Harrelson. When we first meet Woody, and he shows you how smart he is. He says, "Well, when I walked up here, there's a floor missing. When I counted all and to me, they never say what it is, but to me, like that place is either hell or it's another floor to it. It's like it's almost like the cartel of cartels in that building, and they're sending people out on these things, and that just to me, it's like a whole nother world of a story we knew nothing about."
We'll look into it.
Those were 7 Minutes in Heaven, and right now you should still be. Oh, look at those little comments in the live chat. Oh, you guys, you love us, you really do.
All right, what were your favorite scenes in the movie? Drop them in there.
All right.
Post-haste.
Post-hadeus. Habeas corpus. All that stuff. Hey, guys. Hey, it's time for a baby shark. Shark, 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 shark. Open up and use your jaws. It's time for You're Gonna Need a Bigger Boat. But by the way, speaking of that, did you know that was an improvised line? Wasn't even written in the film?
Really?
Yep. You definitely fact check that.
I will believe. I'll look it up later, but that's awesome.
I'll be looking up something later too. Listen, guys, your favorite films or your worst films, they all have something in common, which are lines that you really love. And we're not talking about Blow, unless we're talking about Blow the film. I don't nickel and dime. Hey, Pee Wee Herman reference. Let's get into it, guys. You're gonna need a bigger boat. Hey, this one guy told me. I told him you're going to hell. He said,
Be there in about 15 minutes.
I got way more than 5, man.
And so do I. We're just gonna go back and forth. We're spitballing,
which is crazy because not a lot is said in this movie.
But it is.
But when they say something, they make sure it means something.
Mm-hmm.
Either it means something or it's just really, really witty.
Mm-hmm.
I'll start with really witty. Llewellyn, one of the first things he says to somebody is Carla Jean. He goes where they're sitting in the trailer.
Keep running that mouth of yours, I'm gonna take you in the back and screw you.
Hey, that's a man's man in that world. Love you, ladies. Speaking of that same scene,
try that on Angela. Just
don't do it tonight. Don't do it tonight. Wait to Cinco de Mayo. And with that being said, that same scene, I don't even want to know where you've been all day.
That'll work.
Yeah. Yeah. Big ass. Man, if only.
You try that tonight.
Yeah. We'll stay out till 3 o'clock in the morning. I want to know where you've been.
You might as well film the next season over here because that's how long you'll be here.
Yeah, she said, I want to know where you've been.
What business is it of yours?
Where I'm from.
Friendo.
That was his one time in the film where that guy bothered him. He wanted to kill that guy so bad. That reminds me of Tom Cruise in not Leverage with Jamie Foxx. Help me out here. Collateral. He only wants to kill the people he's going to kill. He's a skilled killer, but if you piss him off, he'll do you. It's like me and you having a conversation, and I'm just like, man, you might pull that shit out. That's basically what he said. They're talking like, call it, man.
What's funny is like with when in a convenience store scene, you would expect the person working in the convenience store to be the one annoyed with the customer, not the other way around. He's wandered into his establishment.
Have I done something to bother you? And all those smiley faces in the background. All right, like that. Hey, I ask you this: if the rule you follow led you to this,
Of what use was the rule?
Sheriff Tom Bell. The Wendell, Garrett Dillahunt, he says, it's a mess, ain't it, Sheriff? And when Tommy Lee Jones, Tom Bell says,
If it ain't, it'll do till the mess gets here.
that was just a sad man. Tommy Lee Jones had it out. I like that. Hey, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What's the
Most you ever lost in a coin toss?
Don't put that in your pocket.
Yeah. Well, where would you like me to put it?
Ew.
Carla Jean says to Llewellyn, I got a bad feeling, Llewellyn. And Llewellyn goes,
Well, I got a good one, so that ought to even out.
Dude, they were the antithesis of being able to go back and forth here.
Everything they said could either be really poetic or the narration of a Chevy truck commercial.
I got this. I'm pretty sure I'm getting the line wrong, and forgive me because when we interview her later, she's going to correct me. But she says, her line says, and I got the cancers.
I got the cancer.
She pre-visioned it.
Yeah, she did. She pre-visioned.
I pre-visioned it.
You know how many people I know in San Antone?
That's how many.
I like her.
Okay, when Llewellyn's in in like the tool shop or whatever, buying materials to hide the money, when the dude asks him, he's like, tent poles? You already have a tent and you just want poles? He's like, yes, sir. If you tell me the tent, I can look up the model number and get you the right poles. And then Llewellyn goes,
Never mind, I want a tent.
What kind of tent?
Kind with most poles.
Let me know if anybody else checks in tonight. And by anybody,
I mean, any swinging dick.
Badass cowboy, badass dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, speaking of badass cowboy, yeah, I'm going to bring you something, all right?
Decided to make you a special project of mine. You ain't gonna have to come look for me at all.
And hangs up the phone.
I'll put that over What's His Nuts in Taken.
Oh, you done lost your fucking mind.
No.
Listen.
That was a better I'm coming for you.
No.
I'm going to make you my special project. You're not going to have to come looking for me at all.
I will find you. Good luck. That man listened to that recording 90 times. We're not going to do that today. Hey, I know what more beer leads. I know what more beer leads to.
Bear leads to more bear.
She wanted that man to bend over. I mean, that's the. Yeah. Right.
Which
that was her in the pool.
She's the one that got him up in that hotel.
No, sir. His mom got him up.
You go to El Paso? I know it. Where are you staying?
Oh.
It happened right before. I thought that at first too, because remember they did that. And she was in the pool sitting face down, ass up. That's the way I like.
What's his name says to Sheriff Tom Bell says that sounds like they died Tom Bell says sounds like they died of natural causes, and they go, natural how?
Natural to the line of work that was in.
That was one of Tarantino's favorite lines. He definitely did that. I think that there are a lot of powerful lines in there, but to me, those were the most powerful lines for me. I see you have a few more.
I got two more. I saved the best for last. So the accountant when Anton walks into Milton's place, like, are you gonna shoot me?
That depends. Do you see me?
And I love that. That should have been one of mine. And that actually goes back to my point of how when people say he's not a ghost, that but I will say this, he wants to be one so bad. He's trying to do everything. It's like he's on a mission for death. Like, hey man, just do these things for me. You'll be one of us. Yeah. And so that's probably, and that cartoon is probably when he was accepted. All you gotta do is stomp out this and what's the last thing? A blood's bone? No, a little boy's shirt.
I'll give you my shirt.
He got it and that was it. He just fuck out of here.
My favorite line, it was actually said by today's guest, Barry Corbin, who plays Ellis. When he says to Sheriff Tom Bell, he says, "You can't stop what's coming."
They ain't all waiting on you. That's vanity.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Because you guess what, guys? If there's one thing you got to be in this life, it's humble. Take that from the king, and I'm the Lord.
All right, those were our favorite lines in the movie. Put your favorite lines in the comments.
Or on the counter.
Or just scream them into the ether as we move on to Scene Stealers.
Guys, all right. This is, you know what? Before we jump into it, you know what Scene Stealers are. Clearly, you saw I'm going to kill someone this Friday. It was between me and Thomas Siddell, Mr. Royal. I let him win because we're duality. But let's go ahead and do a recap of the Scene Stealers from Season 2. Dave, take us away.
Thank you. Throw the board down there. We did Vanilla Sky, episode 1. That
Mrs. Cameron Diaz, call me, baby.
We did Tropic Thunder, episode 2. That was
Lincoln Osiris. Hey, I'm just a guy playing the guy playing the guy.
Episode 3 was Django Unchained.
Sir Christoph Waltz.
Coming to Americas.
His name does not even need to be mentioned.
Eddie Murphy.
I'm a donkey.
Lean on Me.
The timeless one. The ancient one. Motherfucking Morgan Freeman.
Doctor Strange.
Psychedelics were consumed during that episode. Miss Tilda Swinton.
And Death to Smoochie.
Oh, man. The late, great. He's not even going in my mind. Number 1 in your program, number 12 in your hearts. Robin Williams.
That brings us to No Country
for
Old Men.
We have some, honorable mentions. Not even honorable mentions here. My point is this is probably one of the hardest ones to do here. And I'll go ahead and just jump right into it. Honorable mention to 2 people, Tommy Lee Jones and Woody Harrelson. And I know Tommy Lee Jones did something I had never seen before. To me, it's just like I've never seen him play such a sad person in my life.
All that dark, all that cold.
I was just like, damn, man, it's like, you talking about all these other people died. He was dead inside. And you heard him say this. Let me tell you why. It showed you why he was so sad. He had been killing and doing all this stuff his whole life. And he was like, I just knew God was going to show up. And like he was just going to ride off into the sunset. He felt like there was no God.
So you're giving it to honorable mention to Tommy Lee Jones and Woody Harrelson?
That is correct.
So, man, who are you giving your... Oh, I got honorable mentions too, but I can't wait to see who your scene stealer is between Javier Bardem and Josh Brolin.
Okay.
My honorable mention, Tommy Lee Jones, of course, because he was a natural. I think he might be the best actor at being able to look unfazed no matter what situation he's in, and it doesn't come off as bad acting. Like if most people did what he did, it would be portrayed as like they don't know how to show emotion on camera. But when he does it, he takes lack of emotion to like a superior level of acting.
Even in The Fugitive, when that train crash, like the whole world's going looking for this fugitive. All right, I want everybody in every in-house doghouse out there. Like that. It's not another day in the week.
Same like this, whether he is having a quiet conversation with his wife or he's driving into a shootout happening on the street. He's always just like, well, I might have some coffee later. We'll see.
Hey, that works.
Yeah. My other honorable mention was Josh Brolin because I have to give it to him because he succeeds in like pretty much being the actor that carries the movie. Mm-hmm. But he didn't get my scene stealer because there just wasn't anything like spectacular about his performance in this.
Well, I think we're trending in the same direction here. So my scene stealer, you actually brought out the reason earlier why this person's my scene stealer. For me, it's going to be Mr. Anton Chigurh, also known as Javier Bardem. Yeah. I've been trying that the whole episode, guys.
We let our lips get so numb to say his name so we don't have to enunciate anything too particularly.
Speak for yourself there, lover boy.
I'm not confident about it at all. Javier Bardem.
No, and with that being said, the reason why I gave it to him, you brought it up earlier, and I found that out before you mentioned it, which was when he was offered the role, he didn't want to do it because he said, I don't speak very good English, I cannot drive, and I don't like violence. So everything except the driving, everything other than that, he became this iconic character. When you get spoofed so many times, and like you say, he probably had the less dialogue out of all the lead characters. And to me, acting isn't always about the words, especially in this Coen Brothers film. There's barely any goddamn soundtrack, as you mentioned, which that means there's no soul to the film, but there is soul. Mm-hmm. And my point is the emotions he emoted, the beats, even when he's trying to mock someone, he doesn't mock anyone the whole film until that. That's why I say he was more pissed off at that convenience store. He's like, friendo,
yeah.
Since you're so friendly friend, nice mother. You know what? I'm gonna go out of my way to you up today. Heads, call it. He need to tell me. I don't know what we're calling. I don't got it. Oh, it's for everything. Like, how did this just happen?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I give it to him. Javier, from me to you.
Once again, it's unanimous. I think it's been like this pretty much. Eddie Murphy, Morgan Freeman, Tilda Swinton, Robin Williams, and now Javier Bardem. We've been unanimous on these, and like you said, with his like English being his second language, to know that watching him do these lines, he speaks with such a razor sharp articulation of everything he's saying.
And it's either heads or tails. And you have to say, call it.
And he reminds me of the Joker, the Dark Knight Joker, Heath Ledger's Joker, the Joker.
Okay.
The way he makes you hang on his every word when he's talking. Like when the Joker hit the screen, it was like you were just compelled by everything he's saying.
And little gamble here.
Yeah.
He won't have enough money to buy his grandma's.
So great. And he also he reminds me of the Terminator.
Okay, now hold on.
You can't escape him. He's
you
never see him run. You never see him like frantically chasing. He's like, go ahead. I will catch up eventually.
Right.
And I will terminate you.
You won't be back.
Yeah. He pulled off the quiet, menacing villain perfectly.
So Javier, it is unanimous. The Academy said it first, but I know you're going to put this TTFT trophy up above everything. Here you are, sir. You are our scene stealer for No Country for Old Men.
Put right down there in the comments down there what your favorite actors were in No Country for Old Men.
Was it DJ Qualls? Was it Javier? Was it Tommy Lee Jones?
It was not DJ Qualls.
What do I get in this garage?
All right. It is time for Cast, Crew, or You.
Guys, this week we got a special surprise for you here. Listen, Dave, tell them who we got.
We have Beth Grant, who played Carla Jean's mother in the film.
I got the cancers.
And Barry Corbin, who plays Ellis. The character pretty much sums up the entire movie for you.
You can't stop what's coming. You think it's all about you?
That's vanity.
All right, let's get into those interviews.
Okay, all right, ladies and gentlemen, today we have a special treat for you. David, tell them who we have.
Our guest is an actress who you have most definitely seen at least a time or two, working for over 4 decades with more than 230 films on her resume. Beth Grant has starred in classic films and television series such as Rain Man, Flatliners, Dragnet, Child's Play 2, The Golden Girls, Coach, Murder, She Wrote, Speed, To Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar, A Time to Kill, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, The X-Files, Donnie Darko and Southland Tales, Malcolm in the Middle, Matchstick Men, 6 Feet Under, Little Miss Sunshine, My Name is Earl, Extract, Crazy Heart, King of the Hill, Rango, Modern Family, Dexter, Justified, Grey's Anatomy, The Office, American Gods, The Mindy Project, Netflix's A Series of Unfortunate Events, and of course, No Country for Old Men, and a few dozen handfuls more on top of that, and also starring in over 30 plays from Los Angeles to New York. Plus, she has somehow found time to dabble in writing and directing. Beth Grant, you are obviously extremely busy, so thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us today.
Wow, you must really be out of breath. That was fantastic.
COVID-free.
Beth, thank you so much, Ms. Grant, for coming on with us today. Again, we always want to say thank you in these times that we live in to anyone that would be more than gracious enough to grace our set. So again, thank you. Now, let me jump right into it. In 2007, you pre-visioned it. You played Carla Jean's mother in the Coen Brothers classic, No Country for Old Men.
3 years ago, I pre-visioned it.
You were absolutely perfect at bringing the special brand of Coen Brothers character to life with all the particular nuances. What was it like working with them?
Oh, well, it was just heaven. I mean, I couldn't believe it happened. I had loved them for so long. And as soon as I read the script, well, I knew the book, I was like, oh my God, this is it. This is going to be their masterpiece. And that's saying something because everything they've done, it practically is a masterpiece. And I had always liked Miller's Crossing was my favorite prior to this, but I really felt it. And I remember I was sick the day I went in for the audition and I was lying down in the waiting room before I was called in, but I knew what to do with her. She was a bit of my grandmother and I just knew who she was. I can't explain it. And so they got along great with him, but then I didn't hear for 2 months. And then I got a call on a Thursday, and they wanted me to come in on Saturday. They wanted to, photograph me and film me, and I couldn't go. I had a commitment with my daughter to go to something that Gina Davis does with, I think it's called Girls or something. It's some kind of sports camp and raising money for girls to be in sports and things. And they had the soccer team that had won the gold medal was going to be there at a celebrity golf tournament, whatever. And Mary was a goalie. She's 6 feet tall, and she was 5'9" when she was 12. And so it meant so much to her. She had invited her friend. They were coming to pick. I couldn't cancel. I could not do it. So it broke my heart. And I said, what am I going to do? My husband said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to film it and we'll get it to them. And this was before, now everybody does that, but they didn't used to do that. You didn't send in VHS, especially to the Coen Brothers. But he recorded it on our little VHS. Our daughter read the off-camera lines. And he took that thing, bless his heart, and hand delivered it to their office and put it on their desk. He didn't want anybody touching it. He wanted to make sure they got it. And then I got the offer on Monday. So it started with, I knew that it was a charm situation because for that to happen. And it was just fabulous. They were wonderful. They were kind, friendly. They knew what they wanted. They're the only directors I've ever worked with who gave you, with your sides in the morning, you got the shot list and the storyboard. And so I knew exactly what they were shooting when they were shooting it. And I had never thought that would be particularly helpful, but it was great. And just loved them. We finished early. I only shot 3 days, something like that. But, happy crew when you're working an 8 or 10 hour day, you got a happy crew. So everybody was very happy, very, very much in a good mood. And it was just wonderful. I will say that Mary Voorhees, their costume designer, who's done a lot of their movies, is really the one that came up with, I had never conceived that, white curly hair and the big glasses. And she had a beanie bra filled with beans, so I had saggy boobs, all that kind of stuff.
Sorry, one moment, please. There's a there's a knock at the door. Just gonna check on that real quick. I apologize.
Hello, who's at the door?
They're persistent. They tried like 5 minutes ago, and we tried to ignore it, but then they decided to try again.
Maybe it's important.
That's I saw that Josh Brolin had ended up sending in his audition tape as well for that, and I had Quentin Tarantino direct his audition.
Yeah, mine wasn't quite Quentin Tarantino. Yep, and funnily enough, he was best friends with the star of Jericho, that series I did. He was from Concord, North Carolina. Ulrich, Skeet Ulrich.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Was best friends with Josh and had told him about the part. And then Josh got it. And so I always thought, gosh, that was generous of him to do, That's the way it should be.
Yeah.
I've done it and it's been done for me, but it's pretty rare,
Well, it was on IMDb, so I'm not sure how true the end of the story was, but I thought it was funny that he put all this, Brolin put all this work into his audition tape. Quentin Tarantino directed it, shot it with the cinema camera, sends it into him, and their only reply, according to IMDb, was, we like the lighting. Which it's one of those things that feels true because it seems like something the Coen Brothers would do because they're just very dry. But yeah, I thought that was humorous.
Well, I'm sure that they weren't used to getting that kind of lighting on a submission tape like that. They thought, my God, this is like a feature. Oh, that's funny. Josh was so cute at the premiere. He came over and he said, I've been wanting to meet you. You got me killed. Because our scene was only on the phone, so we hadn't actually worked together.
Yeah, I think there's not much connecting between the characters, and that I think your daughter in the movie is the only character that actually interacts with each of the main characters. She's like the The Eye of the Pyramid, I guess.
Wow, I've seen that movie 15 times and I didn't realize that. That is cool. I can't wait to tell my husband. We love that movie. We love it. We love it, and it's not because of me. They did it.
It's not my go-to Coen Brothers movie when I want to watch a Coen Brothers movie, but it's definitely, I would say, the best Coen Brothers movie.
Which one is your go-to?
My go-to is depending on how I'm feeling, it's either The Big Lebowski or Burn After Reading. They don't make a bad movie. Everything that they've done has been at least a 9.
What was the one that got a little poo-pooed? Ladies in Lavender or something with Tom Hanks?
The Lady Killers.
The Lady Killers, that's right. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, it was, and I mean, it was Tom Hanks. Like I'd never seen him before, and you could tell he was having so much fun with that character.
You gotta go at a movie like that with the right attitude. That's that. What we bring to it makes such a difference.
Yeah, I mean their dialogue. Well, and that's actually my next question. Like the Lady Killers, the dialogue in all their movies, the dialogues have such a specific rhythm to it. It's almost like lyrics to a song. I mean, it's like you were made for a Coen Brothers movie when you're sitting in the back seat delivering those lines. You are in tune with their rhythm perfectly. And I'm curious if there is any room for improvisation on their films, or is it like to the T?
Well, I did it to the T, and they asked me if I wanted to do anything else, but I didn't have anything else to do. It's just so weird because, like, as I say, I improvised on Rain Man, and frequently in features you do improvise, but they're so good. It was to the T. I mean, I can't speak for the rest of the, only was in my work, but it was just perfect. So why mess with it? And I said, oh, I wish I had something else, but I don't. So we went home at 4:00.
I can't improve upon perfection.
This is it. This is what you pay for.
They had it right, and if they liked it, was good enough for me.
Right. Yeah. Now you've talked about how much you prepare and how you try to find that the reasoning behind these roles. Let me ask you this: there's always the fine line of comedy and drama with their work. Now, as an actress tasked with bringing these emotions to life, how do you approach a role like this?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, once again, a bigot, really. I just, because I had this strong image, I felt like I had met this woman. Now, I was a little bit afraid of the big white wig.
Right.
And I thought, oh my God, is it too much? When I got in that trailer, but then I saw Javier's and I was like, Javier's, well, I'm not going to be more direct. But I just knew I wanted to keep her very real. And I did a thing my mother always did. You've probably seen Southern women do it, of keeping my pocketbook in my lap. Mm-hmm. And my mother would cling to her pocketbook wherever she was. One time when I first moved out to California, we rented a limousine for her. And, we weren't rich, but we just wanted to make her feel good. She and my daddy. And picked him up, and Daddy's trying to help the driver put the luggage in the car. And I said, Daddy, let him do it. Let him do it. That's his job, Then we get in the car and we've got champagne and hors d'oeuvres or whatever for her and Daddy. I don't even drink, but for them. And she got that pocketbook right in her lap. I said, Mama, you can put the pocketbook down. She's just holding on to that. I'm fine. And, it just tickled me. So I've just grown up around these people. So it wasn't exactly my grandmother, wasn't exactly any one person. The high-pitched voice came from my grandmother, I think. But I just knew that she needed to be real. And she was real to me. So you start with that, and then with Mary Voorhees costumes, and then just looking at myself in the mirror. It was honestly one of the more fun roles because of that, because there's an old ad for A Streetcar Named Desire with Marlon Brando and Vivian Leigh. And in the ad, it says, ripped from the fabric of life. And I've used that line ever since because I think that's hilarious. And I think this one for me was ripped from the fabric of my life. I just knew what to do. Sometimes you don't know. There was a thing Barry Sonnenfeld directed me in called Maximum Bob, the Elmore Leonard novel. And I knew what to do with her. And I was auditioning and I thought, oh my God, I have to go all the way with this character. So I did the whole hairdo piled up on top of my head and these black glasses and old Oxfords and a pitiful dress. I mean, I just knew what she looked like, but I looked in the mirror and I thought, oh my God, is this too much to go to an audition, you know? But I felt it in my heart. It wasn't intellectual. It came from inside. And I went down Sunset Strip, which is so fancy, you know, and I stopped at a gas station to get gas. And I said, we'll see how people react to me. If people start laughing or if somebody says, oh, where are you going? None of them did. They all were very polite. And I thought, okay, I got her. And I did get her and it was great. So yeah, they come from all different places, sometimes from a wig, a hairdo, a dress, sometimes just organically inside of me. You know, doesn't mean I get the part though. And it doesn't mean it's that I'm always good.
Yeah.
But I try hard.
How tight was the direction on No Country? Like for instance, when you know how many people I know in El Paso.
That's how many.
Is that in the script or is that like I feel the need to throw up my hand here?
You know, I don't remember. I think it was in the script. I don't know. Yeah, it must have been because the line was, that's how many. So it must have been in the script.
Okay.
You know, perhaps I did it with greater finesse than one would imagine.
You definitely put some.
I got the cancer.
Now, if you don't quite remember that, let me ask you this: no matter whether it was fun or just your personal memory, was there your favorite? Do you have a favorite memory from that set? Whether it was someone you worked with off screen, on screen, what was your favorite memory from that set?
Well, I loved everybody. What an honor! I will say my favorite memory, and I probably lost some money because of it, but you know, between shots, it occurred to me that I could record the telephone conversation with Josh. I could do my side of it. And I thought that would be better than in a studio because I was in character, I was in costume. I felt I would be able to give them more of what they wanted. And so they said, oh, what a great idea. And so they got the sound guy. We went into a room at the motel room and
No, she'll be all right.
She'll be all right.
and we recorded it in like 2 takes or something. And I did think it was great. When I saw the movie, I thought, oh man, that worked. And I don't know that I would have been as good in a cold studio. You know, it's different. And so, but then I thought, oh hell, I could have gotten another, you know, payday there.
ADR session, 8 hours. We need you.
Yeah. But I wouldn't trade it for anything. And the night of the premiere, oh my God, it was so thrilling. And watching it, I mean, it was the most quiet I've ever heard any audience ever during a movie. I mean, you could hear a pin drop the whole damn movie. And then when it was over, you know, with that ending, you know, you aren't even sure. It was so quiet. There was no applause. Beat, and then finally, whoa, big ovation, you know. And it was like, oh, phew, you know, because you never know. But I did think because they were being so incredibly quiet that people were with it all the way. I was. And then I remember at the premiere, Tony Bill, the great director and producer's wife, Helen Bartlett, asked me, she said, do you think that Tommy Lee Jones's character, do you think the sheriff finds God? And I said, gosh, I'm going to have to see it again. I hadn't thought of that. But you think about that, going on with that dream, you know, that he had about his father and stuff. Ooh, very moving. So.
Yeah, that movie just begs for interpretation. It feels like a parable more than you're watching something take place in reality. It feels like everything is a metaphor.
And people who say it's too violent. I mean, I don't like exploitative movies where it's violence just for violence personally. But you know, this violence didn't bother me at all. I mean, I've seen it all those times. And my sister-in-law was very upset after the movie. And I've heard other people say that. And I'm like, gosh, I just didn't feel that way. I really didn't. It was all to purpose. He was the devil. And Tommy Lee Jones represented God. And they're battling over the soul of every man, Josh Brolin. To me, that's what I got out of it.
Yeah, that's a solid theory. I would take that. Before we go on from No Country for Old Men, is there anything else that you think fans of the film would like to know?
Gosh, I don't know why that's such a loaded question for me. Well, sweet. I'll tell you something sweet about Javier. I didn't work with him. However, they had the Broadcast Critics Awards, and we were at the table with him, and I had been shooting that day, in fact, on a movie, and I barely made it. I was still in my costume, and I had a little French twist, and I was playing a Midwestern woman, had a little pocketbook and little high heels and this little imitation Chanel suit. And anyway, I was late. I walked the carpet, and then we were right there with him, but we were late, and they were giving away the awards, and we had to pause for a commercial break to take our seats. So they had seat fillers, you know how they do. And so we went down together through the audience and sat at this table and bonded. We were friends by the time we got there. And he's just a sweetie pie. He really is. I know it sounds like I'm saying that about everybody. I don't feel that way about everybody, I promise you, but I did. And after he got his award and he sat back down, he looks at my husband. He says, "Was that okay? Was that all right? Did they understand my English?" And I thought, good grief, here's this extraordinary actor from a theatrical family in Spain. He's done all this incredible work, and he's so vulnerable and worried about, did they understand his English, and what's what he said okay? And it just endeared him to me. So I'll tell you that story. That's it.
Let me ask you this. Okay, so we're winding down here, but with so much experience yourself, on top of all the experienced filmmakers that you've shared the screen with, what is the best piece of advice you can give to aspiring actors?
Well, I would say slow and steady wins the race. I would say go to class, go to class, go to class, get in plays, do theater, and build yourself a support group in these classes and theater, and invite everybody to see it. Don't be too proud to do student films. I mean, I did a student film. I was trying to think. The last one I did was probably 3 years ago. And I don't do them all the time, but if I am available and somebody gets a script to me and I think, I like the director, I'll do, low budget movies. And, this invitation I just got was, I'm sure they're not paying much. But it's not about that. It's about the role and the story and the director. And so don't be a snob. Don't let your ego, remember, ego is not your amigo. and pray to be of service, because that's the goal. The goal is, what are artists anyway? We're human beings who are telling our personal stories through other people's mouths. We're channeling our stories through these other people. And we learn about ourselves and we grow as human beings. And hopefully, that's the goal, whether you're Picasso or whether you're the Coen Brothers or me or whoever. I think that's the goal. It's not about getting rich and famous, which is, of course, why we all go into it. Not all actors, but a lot of us actors, that we're dreaming big, and I wanted to be loved. I just wanted everybody to love me. And it was a way I could get my mother's attention. She loved it when we called it showing off or showing out. Sometimes they'd say, "Look at her showing out." And Mama loved it. It made her laugh. It made her smile. My Uncle Billy loved it. I wanted them to love me. And so that's really was the beginning of it. And I heard Meryl Streep say that too, that, she said, some of us, we all hopefully get some attention when we sing a little song at Sunday school or whatever. But some of us like that applause a little too much. It's like, whoa, I want that for the rest of my life. So I would say over time, it needs to change so that it is about the work and the craft and learning. But it's so thrilling. It's the ultimate between action and cut, or if you're stepping on the stage. Once you step on that stage and you're in that unknown territory, anything can happen. Anything can happen between action and cut. Anything can happen on that stage that's lightning in a bottle. And so it brings you closer to your higher power. whatever your definition of I don't care if it's equals MC squared, the energy of the universe. Even Einstein said the universe is friendly. And the people that have been splitting atoms say, I don't know what it's called when we get to that point where we split that atom, but there's some energy there. So that's what we're after is to come close to that, to touch it, and to feel it and to let it pass through us. So that's a lot. I didn't keep it simple, did I?
That's wonderful.
I like it. Yeah, no, there's something.
I would say slow and steady wins the race is the biggest.
And ego is not your amigo. Got it. Yeah. No, when a group of adults get together and agree on and like play pretend on an agreed premise, how is that any different than the reality we live in anyway? So to get to do that on stage or in front of a camera where at least the premise is controlled and there's a meaning that we've all agreed on, I mean, yeah, it's got to be thrilling, and to really not take that for granted if you're in the position to be able to get to live these extraordinary lives within the big life. The most recent role that you've played that has been released is Sheriff Lund in the new Nicolas Cage film. Right back to the beginning of where we started here. Everything begins and ends with Nicolas Cage.
Always.
Willy's Wonderland.
Willie! Willie needs to eat, and I'm gonna feed him.
And busy as always, we see that you have a few projects in various stages of production to be released in the near future. Can you tell the audience what to keep an eye out for?
Well, I'm very excited about Goliath that I did with my old friend Billy Bob Thornton, and he and I started together, and I was just thrilled to do it. And we were actually on a show called The Judge, and I'm playing the judge. And at one point I was supposed to do the movie The Judge with Robert Downey Jr. and Robert Duvall, but unfortunately I wasn't available because of the Mindy Project. And so I just have a feeling that Billy thought of me for this because, it's like coming full circle at this time of life. And I love doing that. So that's coming out soon, I would think. Don't know. It wrapped in January, so I hope we hear soon. What do I have in the camp? Well, right now on Amazon Prime Video. Ooh, Poltergeist behind you. Poltergeist.
Oh, that was behind us. Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Hey, hey, maybe it's stuff we need to be watching out for.
We started out with lights, camera, action. We're down to camera, action.
Anything can happen between action and cut. Anything can happen. Have you not been listening? It's okay. What are you doing there? You trying to see what it was?
Oh, okay.
It's the light. It's the light. You're a little afraid there.
Yeah, yeah.
See what happened with Nicolas Cage? He heard us talking about him. He came all the way here to mess.
Right. Willy's Wonderland.
Yes.
Well, anyway, this movie I have on Amazon Prime now is called Words on Bathroom Walls. And I love it. I just think it's great. Charlie Plummer plays a high school student who is a schizophrenic, and it was released in theaters, but it's the pandemic. So anyway, I'm very happy that people can see it now. There's another one called Wander Darkly it was also released in theaters. Sienna Miller, Diego Luna. I don't know when it's coming to a streaming service, but I'm sure it will be. It did very well at Sundance and so on.
Amazing.
That's it for now. I mean, I'm working. I have one big movie I would love to tell you about, but I am signed to a
confidentiality agreement. Don't worry. We respect that. Something tells me we'll know it when we see it.
You will. This is one.
Remember, hey, you got to do us a favor. If we review that in season 3, you come back and talk to us about that. Deal?
All right, absolutely.
See, there we go. We're booking. We are booking. All right. So listen, this is not really a last question, more, but say any parting words that you would like to share with our audience or your audience before you say goodbye?
Well, I would like to say to your audience that I hope they realize how lucky they are to have such wonderful people to bring an intimate interview. We never met before today, but you're so open and loving and kind, and it's amazing. I mean, I knew from the email that you sent or Facebook thing that you sent, I said, this is a good person. I'm sorry it didn't work out before, but I'm glad we got it. I hope your audience realizes that, because sometimes we take people for granted. And I'm not saying that you are. I'm not saying you're a victim or anything like that. But I would like to celebrate you, honestly, and say that this has been lovely and fun and friendly. And I've talked about so many different things. I'm sorry I took so much time, but
No,
you guys are great. I think you're great. I really do. And I wish you good luck with your filmmaking career.
Thank you. Thank you. Hopefully one day we'll be saying, hey, we need her to come act with us. And so, act for us.
Jackson and, Jacksonville. So I've worked in Jacksonville. I'm just saying.
Listen, I appreciate it. You'll always be the original MS in my mind. Meryl Streep, not the other one. All right, listen, Beth, thank you. No, thank you so much for taking time out of your day. Tell your husband we apologize. We will never keep him or you waiting again. Good luck with you guys' business meeting, and peace, prosper, and live long.
Live long.
Oh, there. I got it.
Yeah. My daughter taught me how to do that. Okay. Yeah. Take care. Lots of love to you.
Thank you. You too. All the best.
Bye.
All right, our next guest is an actor with a legacy firmly secured throughout iconic staples of film and television. We're talking General Behringer in War Games, Uncle Bob in Urban Cowboy. He has shared the screen with Clint Eastwood in Any Which Way You Can. I was introduced to him as Maurice on Northern Exposure, which he received an Emmy nomination for. One Tree Hill fans know him as the coach of the Tree Hill Ravens. Better Call Saul fans know him as Everett Acker. There's also Stir Crazy, MASH, Dallas, Modern Family, The Ranch on Netflix, of course, No Country for Old Men.
That's vanity.
And literally over 200 more roles spanning 45 busy years as an actor. Mr. Barry Corbin, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us today.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Let's talk about No Country for Old Men for a minute. You play Ellis in the film. There's a quote on your IMDb page that reads, you said, I think for the last 15, 20 years or so, Hollywood has underestimated the appeal of the Western. So how would you compare No Country to classic films in the Western genre?
Well, that was an interesting thing that happened. I was sitting at home and my manager called me. I'd heard about this No Country for Old Men. And I didn't really know anything about it, except my son auditioned for it about 6 months before they called me. And so I knew basically that there was a thing called that. And I said, well, I'm an old man and it takes place in Texas, so why don't they call me, I wonder? Well, they never did. And finally, just about a month before I was supposed to, they were supposed to start shooting, my manager called and said, you've got an offer to do one scene in this movie. I don't know if you want to do it or not. It's only one scene, but it is with Tommy Lee Jones, and the Coen Brothers are directing it, and they've written it. It's based on a Cormac McCarthy novel. Well, I hadn't read the novel, and I had to go to Kansas to do a short movie before I did that. And so I didn't have a chance to read the novel. I was in Kansas riding a horse it is a little short movie called Trail End. And it had basically me and a horse. That is basically the whole movie. We were riding across Kansas, and I had two scenes with people. The rest of it is just me and the horse.
Nice.
So I was obviously pretty busy during that time. Didn't have a chance to read much, but I did read the script. When they sent me the script, I said, "Well, let me see the script." And I started reading it. I kept wondering, well, where's this Ellis character? I read, and there's all this, shooting people with one of these bolt guns that they kill cattle with in the slaughterhouses, various things. And I thought, well, this is bloody. I don't know if I want to do this. Yeah. And then I got to that scene. And I read it, and I said, whoa. I went back and read it again, and I called my manager up, and I said, man, this scene is the movie. Sure, I'll do it, of course.
Right.
Because it explains the whole movie.
Yeah.
And so I did, but I had to go to New Mexico. They were doing pre-production in New Mexico, and I had to go there and do a rehearsal, what they called a rehearsal with Tommy Lee. and which our rehearsal consisted of going in with the Coen Brothers and just doing the scene. So that's what we did. We went in and we ran through the scene, and they said, "Okay, that's fine. Let's go to lunch." And coincidentally, I think it's Joel told me that my son, who'd come in audition for him 5 or 6 months before, they said it was between him and the other guy that got the part, and they needed somebody who was not dark and didn't have dark hair. So they cast this blonde kid that played the part. He gets strangled first by Javier. You know, he came in, got chains around his neck, strangled him. So that's the part my son was up for, and he said it was just a matter of look. And Tommy Lee said, "Well, don't tell him that because he'll dye his hair." Well, no, I'm not going to tell him. When I got there, we did that, and then we went away, and then I went and did that movie in Kansas, and then came back, and they had to shoot my movie in the day after that I wrapped in the other one, so they had to charter a plane, fly me down from Dighton, Kansas to Marfa, Texas, which neither place has an airport, you know. And so they chartered a plane, flew me down there, and they had a big, pretty hefty pilot. And I wanted to ask him when he had his last physical, but I was afraid that I might insult him. I was in there by myself with him. That was it. And we made it. And the next day I got up and we went through the scenes, went through it. And an interesting thing about it was there were rattlesnakes up under that house. And these women came in with all these cats. And I said, "Don't let these cats out of here. You never see them again." As Tommy Lee walks in the door, first thing he did, he walks in the door. You see a cat run out beside him, run out the door. Never saw that cat again. That's a pretty primitive deal.
You were speaking about the Coen Brothers. Were you familiar with their work prior to this? And if so, what was your favorite Coen Brothers film?
Oh, sure. I was familiar with them. I liked Old Brother, Where Art Thou was one of them.
Oh, Clooney. Yeah, Clooney. Mm-hmm.
I liked Blood Simple when I first saw that. That's the first one I saw of theirs. And I've liked all their work pretty much, you know. And I when I went in, I was expecting to be there'd be, you know, a lot of notes and things. But we'd do a scene, and then they'd look at each other, and one of them would go, and the other one would go, "All right, let's do it again." So we do it again. And that's the only direction I got. Or Tommy got.
Just do it again.
Got in it, and we had a break for lunch finally. And Tommy said, "Well, what do you think about these guys?" I said, "I don't know. They haven't talked to me. What do you think of them?" This is the first time Tommy had worked with them too.
Yeah.
And he said, "Well, I don't know." And I said, "Well, let's just keep going, see how we do." And we finished that day, and we had to come back and do a couple of pickup scenes the next morning. And I left, went out of town. But I asked, I think it's Ethan, maybe it's Joel. I don't remember which one. But I said, "Do you guys ever give anybody directions?" And he said one of the smartest things a director's ever said to me. He said, "If we cast it right, we don't have to."
Yeah, yeah.
So that was. I thought I took that as a compliment, but and then I saw Tommy right after it was released, and he said, "Well, we were good." Yeah, we were good. About it.
Tommy, that's a good Tommy Lee Jones impression right there. Now, with the Coen Brothers, you've worked with a lot of great writers and directors over the years, Coen Brothers included. What do you think sets a great filmmaker apart from the rest?
They listen, and they pick up things that are going on in the actor's head, and you don't talk about it a whole lot. You listen to I listen to them, and they listen to me, and it's a collaboration, but it's almost a collaboration without language. It's an ESP thing. You know, you either connect or you don't connect.
Yeah.
And I'm lucky in that I can connect with most people. There's some people that I just can't connect with. There was one director that I was working with. We were doing a scene, and he said, it just started into the scene. He said, cut. No, wait. Don't make that face. And I said, what? He said, don't make that face. And I said, well, this is the face you hired. He said, what do you mean don't make that face? He said, well, the face you just made, don't make that face. I said, well, do you think that I stand there when I'm shaving in the morning and practice faces to make? I tell me to think something different, think something else. And he said, okay, think something else. All right, roll it. So I did the same thing, and he said, brilliant. Well, he's just looking for something to say, and he confused the hell out of me. So
I was going to say this next question should probably have went towards the director and not Tommy Lee Jones. But speaking of Tommy Lee Jones, I want to know about that director. But speaking of Tommy Lee Jones, now the responses range from great to terrible when co-stars are asked about their experience with Tommy Lee Jones. Where would your personal experience land within that spectrum?
We've been friends for a long time. I've known Tommy since probably the early '80s. You know, we did a picture together called "Stranger on My Land." Television picture. It's Tommy Lee played Ben Johnson played his father, and I played a marshal who was having to throw them off part of their land, and I didn't like what I had to do, but I was doing it anyway.
Yeah.
And so I've known Tommy for I don't know how long is that. That's about 40 years, I guess. And so we're friends and know each other pretty well. He's a little cranky, but he's all right.
That's what I figured. I figured it was just people that didn't really appreciate that kind of personality that is just straightforward and.
Yeah, well, he is straightforward. He's not quite as straightforward as Wilford Brimley was, but he comes close.
I think Sam Gerard is the character he played that probably mostly mimics who he is in real life. I think that's really Tommy Lee Jones, Sam Gerard.
No Country for Old Men, to me, it feels more like a parable than a straightforward story. What do you think the message is in the movie?
That we all meet our match somewhere along the line. You've got to either accept it or change your direction. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the basis of it. I really don't have any more about it than that, because like I said, I only worked on it one day. So.
Yeah. Now, being that one day, that long day, because if they're going to get you for one day, remember they said, John said he got me one day, John can't do it, he come all day. All right, is there a particular memory that stands out from the one day that you were on set, whether it be with another actor or a set member, crew member, any particular memory?
Like I said, the place where we were shooting is very primitive. I don't know how they found it. It's out there in the middle of the desert outside of Marfa. And you had to go off the main road and go up a dirt road. I wouldn't be able to find it again, but it was exactly right for what we were supposed to have. Mm-hmm. And the interesting thing, but later on, I worked with John Badham, who directed War Games. And he said, I had to wait until the credits to see who played Ellis. He said, I didn't recognize you. He said, you look like something that just grew up in the middle of the dirt out there in the desert. I said, well, the thing of it was they had it in the book, I guess, and in the script that I had one eye that was white, that didn't have any pupil in it. and they talked about doing that. I said, no, we don't need to do that. I can just play the guy, you know. So I just I didn't have any makeup. Got a little dirt, you know. That's it.
Yeah.
Didn't have any makeup at all.
So you got to make that face. The same face you had, you got to make that face, and they were fine with it.
Don't make that face.
Before we move on, is there anything else that you'd like to share about the No Country for Old Men production? Like I know, again, you said you were there for a day, but
I went in for rehearsal. I ran into Josh Brolin, and I had known Josh from the days of this little series called the Young Riders. He played Bill Hickok in that, and we'd known each other sort of for that time. So I ran into him in the bar, and we proceeded to sit there and talk. Tommy Lee came in for a little bit. He had a couple of drinks with us, and then Javier came in, and he had a couple of drinks with us. So if I'd known Javier, if I'd seen this movie before I met him, I wouldn't have had a drink with him. I'd have skinned back from my room. But he's a very nice fella, and so I met a bunch of these people, and the lady that played Josh's wife in the movie, has a very heavy Scottish brogue in real life. And I thought she did a Texas accent pretty well. I thought she fooled me. But in real life, she sounded like a woman right out of the Highlands.
Nice. Amazing.
I want to see you and Tommy Lee Jones play the leads in a comedy about like two retired vets that start like a neighborhood watch and take it very seriously. I think that would be fantastic.
Get off my sidewalk.
Yeah.
Amazing. And let me ask you this. And of course, we're almost done here. And if you don't mind, I have to ask you this. This is not the question I was going to ask, but I have to ask because I'm pretty sure you can follow up. Can you do a follow up 16 and 17? And I'll ask this question real quick. Sure. Could you please tell me your top 3 Westerns of all time? And please tell me Tombstone is in there somewhere.
Tombstone? Yeah, yes. Tombstone would be in the top 5, I guess.
Okay.
Well, one of them would be My Darling Clementine.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not because it was factually correct, because it wasn't. I mean, Doc Holliday didn't look anything like Victor Mature, but it was John Ford did such a good job with it, and Walter Brennan was such an evil old man Clanton that I just love that picture. Mm-hmm. Love The Searchers. Mm-hmm. Which is a story basically of Cynthia Ann Parker, and Red River would have to be in there somewhere, except for the end of it. I like the whole movie, but when they got to the end of it, they just had to figure out a way to end it without everybody killing each other. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Shane would be one.
I knew it. Negotiator Shane. I knew it. Sam Jackson tells him Shane. Go ahead.
And Tombstone, of course. Okay, that's 5.
Yeah, there you go.
That's solid.
Hey, that's very solid. I love that. I thought we were gonna get a little Three Amigos in there, but I knew better.
I like Three Amigos. I like that movie where they fart all the way through it. That Mel Brooks movie.
Blazing Saddles?
Blazing Saddles, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. There you go. Good pull.
Gene Wilder.
Good pull, man. Good pull.
With so much experience under your belt, we have our show is geared not just to people that love film, but aspiring filmmakers. We try to include information in there for them. What is the best piece of advice you could offer to aspiring actors?
The odds now, I mean, they've always been long odds that you're not going to be successful, really. But now the odds are even stacked against you more. Mm-hmm. So if you really want to be an actor, you ought to find something else you can do to make some money, and then do your acting in the community theater or in the little small venue thing. And then maybe that'd be something you do when you retire.
Yeah.
because the odds are stacked against you on this business.
Mm-hmm.
If you're determined to do it, if this is the only thing you can do that'll make you happy, then the Lord bless you, and I'm all for you. But I wouldn't have any advice. I don't know. Everybody's got a different story.
Mm-hmm. That's some of the realest advice that we've heard. Yeah.
My deal was I went to New York first and worked in theater for about 20 years before I ever stepped in front of a camera. And I think that was Walter Matthau once said, film acting is retirement acting. You pull out all the old tricks you learned in summer stock and use that.
Yeah, because you went to college for theater production, right? But you didn't. Your first role in a film wasn't until you were late 30s, right?
I was 30. I turned 39 during Urban Cowboy. Yeah.
I was going to ask you this now. Before we let you go, are there any projects that you can talk about that are in the works that we should keep an eye out for?
Well, the one that I'm going to start next month, I haven't had clearance to talk about it yet. I can tell you being directed by Martin Scorsese.
Ew.
Nice.
Just tighten it up. We'll wait.
Yeah. You don't really have. That's the beautiful thing about Martin Scorsese is you don't really have to say much more than that to promote a project.
I don't know the man really, but I know he talks real fast. I'm kind of like a friend of mine who's in his 70s. He said, I'm not trying to build a resume. I'm trying to milk one.
That you've given us at least 7 bumper stickers during this interview.
I'm telling you,
that
man.
Need to be printed.
Yes.
Before we go, is there? This is the last question. Do you have any parting words that you'd like to leave the audience with?
Well, y'all just keep watching because I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm in it for the long haul. I'm 80 years old, but I'm going to keep going till I can't remember my lines or hit my marks.
Nice.
I love it. Hey man, I'm not just saying this. This has been one of the best interviews ever. I don't even feel like I'm interviewing an actor. I'm interviewing a human being who really just sees life the way it should be seen. So this has been an honor for me. I appreciate it.
Well, we're just having a conversation. Let's have another one pretty soon.
All right. Hey, you said it. And
after that Scorsese picture drops, we'll be in touch.
All right. Yeah. As soon as you hear what it is, then let me know, and then we'll talk about it.
Yes, sir. Yes, that's a plan. Barry, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day. We greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Corbin. It was an honor talking to you.
Well, it's my pleasure. It's been a fun hour.
There you go. Yeah. In and out.
Right. Thank you very much.
I appreciate it.
Hey, cowboy up.
All right. I'm going to take a ride.
Yes, sir. I saved that.
Have a good night.
All right. Good night.
All right, guys. Thank you. Hey, listen. Thank you so much to our esteemed guests. Without you guys, we would still do the show, but it's much better when people actually know that you love us and we love you. Now, Dave, what's our next segment?
Room for improvement.
And I don't want to be blasphemous here because guess what? I don't want all the internet trolls and everybody coming. I understand this is one every award from here to Beijing.
I already disagree with everything you're about to say.
Thank you so much. I know you do, but it's okay because you've been pulling this since season 1. So with that being said, guys, I only have one.
Tell me you're going to change. You're going to be pissed off with the ending.
Is this our show? Who go is it?
You said that I've been doing this since season 1. My problem is always the ending.
Funny. All right. With that being said, guys, for me, I definitely would have changed the ending. And the reason why I say that is because of the fact that, listen, there's actually 2 things I would have changed. Number 1,
I don't even want it in my ears.
That's not what she said. With that being said, there's 2 things I would have changed. And the reason why I say this is I'm okay with not spoon feeding actors and the audience, or should I say, I'm okay with not the audience being spoon fed. But with that being said, once you with Llewellyn, you've made me care about this character for maybe 60 to 75, 85 minutes. How dare you have his death off scene? I'm not saying you got to give me everything and push it in my face. What I'm telling you is that we deserved a better death. Well, not even, you don't have to change how he died. At least let me see the shit. We've been with this guy. We've been rocking with him all fucking movie. Now, I get it. It's all artistic and shit. Fuck that. I'm not saying that's a bad style. I'm saying that's not my style. My preference is you don't have to give me everything, but damn it, he was there for an hour and a half. At least give us 2 seconds of him dying. I didn't even know if that was him. I thought a Mexican took the shirt off and put it on him. I couldn't even really tell it was Llewellyn until to almost the end. But with that being said, okay, I'll get off my soapbox. The reason why I would have changed the ending, I wouldn't necessarily say change. I will. I hate that they did this with Sopranos. I hate when you do this to the audience. Don't ask me to watch this film and be so smart and so initiative. We're just going to do it different. We're not going to give you everything. Well, give me something. Because guess what? I guarantee you 95% of the audience who saw the film they were like, wait a minute, so your dad wasn't there, and then what? And does it force you to go rewatch it? Yes, I've seen this film 3 times in the last week. With that, me and Tarantino have set up at nights watching stuff over and over and over. He'd fall asleep. Are you still going at it? Yes, because I'm looking for some reason why. I'm not saying it was lazy. I know they meant to do it, bro. But I would have changed the ending, and that's all I'm saying. I would at least either change or added on to the ending to at least give the audience, like, they've been with you on this ride, man. Don't do them like this, because yes, me and you will do our research. There are others most people, they're not going to do it like, man, it was okay, but the ending.
Those people.
Okay.
They can go watch She's All That and have a blast. I love the ending of The Sopranos.
I bet you would.
I think it was perfect. This is the way to do anti-climax. This is the way to do it.
How to not bust a nut.
I don't have anything in my what I would change, because no room for improvement. Because if you are a filmmaker,
I am
aspiring, watch this movie and take note, because the lighting, the cinematography, the editing, the sound design, the color grading, the acting, the brave choices that they took to go outside of the norm with pacing and storytelling and reveals, the climax, everything is done 10 out of 10. It is absolutely perfect. I'll get into the what I thought about the ending, but I wholeheartedly disagree with you. I appreciate the fact that you can at least appreciate that they did it
their way.
They didn't just do it because they couldn't think of an ending.
Oh no, I would never disrespect them like that. I know that. No, they did this on purpose, and guess what?
But I will say this: like, we do our research on every movie that we've researched. Have you ever seen a movie with so much? We've got it up right now. Like, have you ever seen a movie with so much content out there with people dissecting the shit out of it?
Yeah, only one. The Matrix.
Okay, so No Country for Old Men and The Matrix.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
it has people there, so it's out there there are people that really appreciate that, and it's just not.
Even The Matrix ends with a phone call. I know you're out there now, and I'm coming. They gave us something, man. But listen, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I disagreed with it. But they were courageous to do that.
All right. Well, I'm anxious to get into Fxxks Given, because I would like to.
Should I go first, or should you?
I'm gonna run it right into this because I'm on a roll now with I've got a few notes here with what I love about this movie.
And scene
5 because it's perfect. This movie is amazing without showing off at all. It's never flashy, not in its cinematography or in how they choose to roll out the story. They are confident in the fact that just the meat of the story is good enough to make it an amazing movie. And they've done so well in setting up the characters and setting up the plot and what's at stake, that they don't have to go all out in some big climax to make sure you at the end of it. You're the whole time, so you leave satisfied. The whole thing is a very steady ride that you can take in, and it's just perfectly paced from beginning to end. The sound design again was so ballsy. It used no over-the-top theatrical sound effects. It was extremely limited in its score and the soundtrack. The use of the wide shots and the long takes with minimal cuts, again, that they're confident in what they're doing. And even with the wide shots, no sound effects, no jump cuts, it still manages to build this the suspense.
It does.
The lighting, angles, performances, everything is.
What about the ambiguity?
I love the ambiguity. That's one of my favorite parts of it because life is full of ambiguity. Life is full of like questions unanswered and anticlimactic endings. And if you think it, like the way everything plays out in this movie, it's all very hyper realistic. Like not realistic in the way most movies are like we're gonna be true to reality. This was like so realistic that it felt like almost voyeuristic at times. The way they lit it, again, the long shots, the angles that they chose to use, the way the performances aren't like people are performing. It's almost like they don't know the cameras are there. And even with all that, it succeeds in being entertaining. And yeah, you saw my notes, didn't you? Okay, the ambiguity. Yes. I didn't even know because I forgot that it was there. I didn't get to that part yet. The ambiguity. Llewellyn, the hero of the film, dies off screen with little explanation as to
that. But that's why I told you I didn't like it though.
But that's why I'm telling you why I do. This is one of my reasons. Before you said what you said tonight, I had that written down as one of the main reasons, one of the closers for why I love this movie.
Coffee's for closers. I want you to get mine back.
Hear me out. I know it's not that section, but the fact that the hero of the movie dies off screen, like the whole movie, we've been talking about his lines, the scenes where the lines and the scenes that we love the most are when he's like this badass hero, and the badass hero dies. We don't even see it. We just find his corpse after the fact, and it could have just been something that happened in like happenstance. That to me is a more tragic and impactful death than had we seen him go out in a blaze, like shoot out the way we would expect to, having watched movies with a hero and a villain our whole life. That's exactly what we would expect. They did the opposite. They just gave us his corpse. And that to me, like even the shot, like you didn't like the way he could have been a Mexican or exactly. He could have been anybody because he is anybody. He's just another human being, and we all just live and die, and there's no like
rhyme or reason for it.
Most of the time, not. And this was, and they did that, and they didn't just do it, and it's like it wasn't done effectively. The way the whole movie plays out, it worked with it, and it's just. It was perfect. Like I said, my favorite Coen Brothers movie. It is amazing.
All right. I'm going to make it short and sweet, just like one of those guns you use that has air that knocks the hole out of a door. I give this movie 4 Fxxks. The reason why I give this movie 4 Fxxks is because I was, for years, people told me, one thing I don't like is people telling me about movies who aren't qualified. If I come off as a douche or an asshole here, check my resume, Google me, and then you won't feel that way. But I don't like when a bunch of people tell me how great something is. And in fairness, I was not let down. Like they were right. This is a great film. But with that being said, the reason why I'm giving it a 4 out of 5 because of the fact that I do give them credit for making me wonder what could have happened. And one line I do agree with you on is that yes, people can die at any given time, and sometimes unless you're directly involved with it, no one gives a. If that's the message they were trying to give me right there, I with it, but I still give it 4 because I will have to agree certain scenes, all the actors weren't as powerful as others. And what I mean by that is this, is that everybody can't be Tommy Lee Jones, but my point is this, is that the pacing could have been just a little bit better for me. And again, I didn't need everything you gave me. Some scenes where I didn't need the Tarantino effect. I didn't need the long drawn out everything, but with that being said, I'm only saying the pacing, acting great, cinematography, all that stuff is great. So I give it 4 out of 5, but I will say this is a classic film. They took chances that most directors would never chase. I would have rather this ending than the Blaze of Glory ending. I don't want to see any more Blaze of Glory, John McClane jumping on the side, Holly! I don't want to see any of that shit, all right? So
we just
disagree on how
taste.
Different tastes, right. Tomato.
Every script that I've given you, or a lot of scripts I've given you, you've always had to talk me down on the ending. Like, man, just give them something.
Breadcrumbs.
The next time I'm giving them nothing.
All right, so you guys.
I love nothing. It's so good.
Yeah,
your way makes sense. There's valid points to what you're saying.
Give me a little something.
It's just a difference in taste. I want nothing at all. Sometimes I
think Cat Williams says it's best. He's never made our show, but Cat Williams said it best. It's like a girl saying, "Hey, I want to you never." Like, so wait a minute, I'm f***able. I look good. She wants to get, but we're never going to do it.
On Rotten Tomatoes, it holds a 93% average with critics. and an 86% average audience score. Our film critic friend Richard Probst over at the Independent Critic said the greatest films are such a force of life and death, love and hate, that once the closing credits begin to roll, the film's cinematic life has just begun. That's exactly what I was saying. They set it up so perfectly that when those credits roll, you don't feel like the story's over. You feel like they set up, like, now you figure out where it goes from here.
I agree, because that was I'm Going to Kill Someone This Friday to the T. I agree.
On the flip side of that, Jonathan Romney of Independent on Sunday said, I can't help feeling the film is ultimately hollow, which,
well,
Jonathan Romney, your f***ing head is hollow. I can't help feeling that.
So you're saying he's Kevin Bacon? Hollow Man. Hey, connections, guys.
I thought you meant Kevin Spacey, Swallow Man. All right, coming attractions.
All right, guys. We've seen Coming to America. We've done Coming to America. And Coming to You Soon is the last 2 episodes of Season 2 of TTFT. Say that 3 times fast. Nope. You're on coke. All right. With that being said, guys, coming attractions. We got 2 movies left. Dave, you name the one. Actually, don't name the one unless you're going to put a 0 next to it.
David Wayne's The 10. Hilarious comedy on May 20th. And we'll be wrapping up the season with
Truffle Shuffle! Truffle Shuffle!
On June 3rd. For the 10, we will be joined by special guest Cedric Sanders and Andrea Rosen.
What are you doing? You said we're going to be wrapping the season. Well, I did the Truffle Shuffle. I thought you were going to go into the Goonies. You go back to the 10 after I just showed my nipples?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I can't help it. You just did.
Okay.
Cinematographer Nick McLean will be joining us for the finale with the Goonies. And we also have a very special bonus episode coming up, Mr. Royal.
We will be doing a special bonus episode called
That's the Theater.
It stars the very talented theater students from Douglas Anderson here in Jacksonville, Florida, who dealt with so many things racially, socially, injustice. And these kids were really brave for what they did. And we're going to bring you guys something very special. So again, as we tell you at TTFT, we're not just here to show you things. We're here to teach you things.
Goodbye, 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 goodbye.